I got this new fridge. It's been a lot more poppin' in my office. I feel like a lot of people are actually coming to talk to me, and it's just been a better environment. So, hey Nate.
All right, see you, man.
So I really just am enjoying the vibes all around. What are you getting?
Hello? Yeah? Uh-huh. On my way.
Yeah, so pretty much I would just say it's been super awesome here. Everyone's being super nice.
Go to newair.com and use the code Levi50OFF to receive $50 off your very own Pepsi Throwback Fridge.
Oh, is that us fading in? I believe it is. Oh, wow, look at that.
Faded.
There is a...
No,
empty
Levi's
chair.
here. He just took a new Diet Pepsi that makes you invisible. So thanks everyone for coming. We're all here.
I believe they call that Pepsi Clear, Morgan.
Ah,
Ugh.
good one.
Actually, that's a real thing, I think.
Good one.
That's a real thing.
I
Well,
think it
Crystal
is.
Pepsi was, and that was no
Oh.
good. That was bad. You could say it was crystal clear.
I would say
Yeah.
that I'm willing to spend $50 on a can of Pepsi Blue if you can find it for me.
Ooh, I had that
$50?
once.
Yeah.
Once. Any rate,
Yeah.
we're here, so why don't we go ahead and get started with the Q&A.
Q&A Thursdays, baby. Let's do it.
I mean, we got people walking by, but guys, it's so hot in this room. We haven't had the AC on for months. This is the first day where we're like, oh, shoot. So we decided to turn it on just a second ago, so we're kind of getting things moving. But
we
anyway,
hit a high of 58 today.
it felt warmer than that.
Nope.
Huh. All right. Well, why don't we start answering some questions? Since we've got this little feed here, I think we can start following up while we wait for Invisible Levi to resume
I think he
talking.
left. I don't think he's
Absolutely.
ever coming back.
But before we get started, I would like to ask Morgan, would I be able to have a Pepsi from the New Air fridge?
Ooh.
You
Diet
would like a
preferred.
Pepsi?
Yeah,
Oh, you want a
please.
diet one?
Yeah.
All right, Dane, anything for you?
Can I please have one of my Red Bull pears?
Ooh.
Wow. What will we do without this New Air fridge?
Pear edition. Here you go,
Ooh.
Dane. And one Diet Pepsi coming right. Oh, wait, did you want a can or a bottle up top?
Oh, can, please, can.
Oh,
Of course. Here you
wow.
go.
So thoughtful.
Oh.
All right, so in case you hadn't noticed, we were having a little fun. We shot some videos with a New Air fridge because
Tim's thirsty too.
We're-
Come on in.
we haven't done much in the way of anything sponsored, and we
I thought that was the mayo. I
if
was
we're gonna
like,
do it, we're gonna have fun with it. So that's what we did. It's been in here, and in exchange for having it in here, we want to make sure we show our thanks for allowing us to cool our beverages. I think that's basically it. So
cool air beverages,
cool it.
yes.
Maybe we'll just leave it open. It'll cool this room off. I mean, it's doing a pretty good job with the drinks. but
that's a good idea.
yeah, food for thought or
Look.
drinks. Anyway,
So getting straight into this,
Yeah.
we're going to start on the top of the list here. Wrecked Panhandle coming in hot saying, hey there, Anthony Morgan and Stone. Well, Levi's not in that in this mix so far, but we'll wait for him to get in. Hans Glosen saying, whoop whoop, came back home right on time.
good job.
Nice.
Hans, did you participate in today's Rag Company, how do I say this, the multiple choice questionnaire that we had on the Instagram?
Yeah, you were setting those up earlier.
We were setting those up earlier to have some fun on our Instagram story post and wanted to see if Hans Klosen got all those correct. right? Because he is a TRC fan, and we wanted to see if how good his TRC knowledge is. Andy White says the best part about Thursday is about to begin.
Yeehaw.
Couldn't agree more.
I would say that this is probably the best part about Thursday.
Short of Thirsty Thursday, this is it.
Yeah. I used to enjoy all the new episodes of the Vampire Diaries, but I guess this is it. All right, so getting into this, Ryan Ringdon says, "Hey TRC team, love Q&A Thursday. Question: what was your first shipment of Crystal Sealant, Generation 2 or 3?
It was the new generation after the revision.
It was Gen 3. It was version 3. So most of our testing was actually done on version 2, and when we first received the first WOWOS batch, and that was well over a year and a half, almost 2 years ago,
Well,
a year and a half ago.
Your feedback is what directly contributed to what became Gen 3.
Correct, yeah. And so we thought Gen 2 was fantastic. We wanted to keep the durability of Gen 2, but we wanted to help with the ease of application, and that's kind of how Gen 3 came about. So there was nothing that was necessarily taken away from Gen 2 in terms of durability and how long it lasts, and all we did was just make it easier to apply. And so
it's awesome to have a product that does what it says, lasts a long time, super tough, holds up against all these things. But if it's not easy to use, that can drive a lot of people away from even giving it a second thought if they hear from someone else, "Oh, don't use it, it's just a pain." Like you want to take that out of the equation. You want to make it as easy as possible without sacrificing anything in the process. So I feel like Crystal Sealant, if you've tried it out, you can tell. If you've used the past ones, this one's definitely easier to use, but you still got the same toughness that you look for when you actually went out looking for a sealant of that kind.
Yeah. Future Prison says, "Hey TRC crew, happy birthday for the other day, Levi." We have Car Detailing by Pat Inc. says, "Can Bead Maker be layered?" Now, Bead Maker can kind of, I would say, build on itself eventually. It can kind of start to build up and eventually get to the point where you've built too much up and it will begin to streak, and that's when you know you've put too much Bead Maker on. Well, technically, yes, it can be layered. We wouldn't really look at that like that. It wouldn't be like you're layering a wax, or the way people used to look at that. It would be more of just you've built up enough of that protection to the point where you just don't really need any more. And so there is definitely a tipping point with Bead Maker. It's not a bad tipping point. It's just you've previously overfilled it, and
but the first time you use it, you do go heavier, and then from then on out, then you go lighter, and you're able to go lighter from then on because now your paint is essentially familiar with Bead Maker, and the process works itself much more quickly, much more efficiently.
Well, you have to think about it too.
Second, third, fourth, consecutive times.
That first application, that initial heavy application, was designed to get the several months of durability out of Bead Maker, right? What happens is that people do the first initial application, which was very heavy, and then the week after they top it off with more. The week after they top it off with more. The week after it kind of keeps going and going and going until eventually, they put too much on and an unnecessary amount of Bead Maker on.
Diminishing returns after a while. No. Yeah, no. So all things to consider. Moving down the line.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying these delicious pumpkin seeds. Yeah.
Okay, Larry.
Season.
As I'm now focusing more on interior cleaning, how do you compare WOWO's leather products to others you've tried? Probably talking about color lock, etc. Also, how effective is the 3-step P&S carpet cleaning process? Thanks from Philly.
All right, so the WOWO's interior products is actually some of the first few things that really sold us on the entire WOWO's line. Is that we love the interior cleaning system and kind of just the overall experience so much with the products that we really wanted to make the WOWO's happen. So basically their leather cleaner and leather cream is, I would say it is hands down at a consumer to prosumer level the best I have tried, right? Now, when you're comparing it to companies like Color Lock that specialize in leather, right, there is different ecosystems.
They go steps beyond any kind of normal maintenance products or like protection products. They're literally restoring stuff.
Well, they have products that can be used on everyday leather of everyday drivers that don't necessarily haven't been re-dyed or anything like that. They have a leather cleaner. They have a mild leather cleaner. They have a more stronger leather cleaner. I think they literally call it strong leather cleaner. So they have those, and they also have their leather shield, which is like a leather sealant. So they have that stuff, and it's fantastic, right? But what's awesome though is the fact that Lars, right, one of the leather geniuses, one of the leather gurus that we have, even says that the WOWO's leather cleaner in cream is good. He even says, yeah, that's good stuff.
And if that guy concedes it, then yeah.
Yeah,
you
and
know
so
you're in good territory.
Yeah, and a lot of the WOWO stuff has been used in a lot of OEM settings for manufacturers and stuff like that. I don't think we can ever release what those would be, but let's just say that WOWO's has been making products for quite some time and has done private labeling and white labeling and things like that, and they've used a very similar similar stuff to the leather cleaner, leather cream for these OEM manufacturers, and they loved the way the leather felt and looked. So. Yeah, awesome stuff. I would say like I said, the best I've used at that level.
You're not going to go wrong. If you try it out, I am virtually
If you don't like it, Dane's going to buy it back from you. Right, Dane?
Is.
I mean, I won't buy it back from you, but I'll use it because I like it a lot. So,
True.
There's that.
Wow.
Danny Israel says, happy birthday week, Levi. So, where is Levi?
Yeah, he's been
He's
gone a while.
probably downstairs with one of his fans.
I guess he just decided Q&A wasn't for him.
Well, Rectangle says he's very confused. We got Omar Cordova says, now I want a Pepsi fridge.
Huh. Wonder how that happened. Well, you can use Levi's special code there and actually get $50 off, I think it was. So if you're interested, if you're serious, it is a cool fridge. Generally, like, all that other stuff aside, we've really enjoyed having it in here. It's been such a nice addition. I think Morgan especially.
Yeah.
I mean,
lots of new friends
Yeah.
coming from this fridge, guys. It'll change your whole life.
turned it around.
Yeah.
Really did. And then your exhaust drove them all away. But that's besides the point.
Whoa.
Anyway.
So, was there an ad rolled before this?
Yes. I feel that's
No.
why they were confused. They saw our
The
ad
New
we
Air.
made for fun with the New Air fridge with her
The
in it.
fake ad.
Was
Yeah.
that really pre-rolled into
Yep.
this?
I talked to Tim and I said, let's run one of these for fun.
That's amazing.
And I'm so glad you guys got to see that. Maybe we'll do it again. They're fun, though, I think.
That is
Did
really
we split
fun.
them up into a bunch of little ones?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did? Okay.
That's really great. Okay, so Andy White says, what is the safest way to clean a dusty instrument cluster? Dane.
Well, there's a few different ways you could approach this. Number one, if your instrument cluster is covered in plastic, I mean, most are, you have to be careful you don't scratch that plastic because scratches in plastic can be a real pain. They don't go away, and they look worse and worse the more you try and fix them, the worse it gets. So just prevent scratching it in the first place. You'll be much happier. So like a Detail Factory brush, the fine detailing brush, a really solid way to do it. You can use your choice of cleaner. I'd probably just go with the O&R. You don't need to go nuts. Just, dab some in O&R, maybe spritz it in there, but don't soak it because you don't want stuff getting into your instrument panel. You just want to get enough on there to be able to remove the dirt, encapsulate it, pick it up, and go. And you can follow up with like a towel. Doesn't need to be a fancy towel. It could be any towel you have as long as it's an absorbent one. So 80-20 or 70-30 microfiber, good way to go. A longer pile will allow you to get deeper in there. If you have really recessed gauges, you want to be, open to that. If you have like an Eagle Edgeless or something, it might feel criminal to use those for anything just because they're such a pretty towel. But at the same time, that's great for getting in nooks and crannies without applying a ton of pressure.
Dane, you hit that nail right on the head.
Wow.
Let's
give a round of applause for Dane.
Dane, you
I
sat.
know how to answer questions too, guys.
You sat on that nail and crushed it, right? You made that nail disappear. Here's the deal. Dane, you're absolutely right. So those gauge clusters, right? Those plastic clusters are very soft plastic, right?
Yes.
They can scratch just by looking at them. And most of the time,
terrible.
when you buy a new car, right, those scratches already come pre-installed because chances are the dealership has taken a very low quality towel and has wiped that out, right? And has already caused some marring or some type of swirling. So the best way to take care of those is exactly what you said. So like taking an Eagle 350, like an Eagle Edgeless 350 with a longer pile, while yes, it may feel weird to use that on there, that is going to be one of the softest and safest towels for that application.
Either that or a Minx, I would say. Minx works good too.
And like that's it. I mean, like you're pretty much just wiping that out with just an Eagle. You wouldn't have to use an Eagle on anything else unless you're dealing with some like piano black plastic. But that particular gauge cluster plastic is just so easy to scratch. So a couple spritz of O&R or glass cleaner, just wipe it out, and you're good to go.
Because my experience lies a lot in like 90s, early 2000s JDM vehicles and stuff, and they traditionally have plasticky gauge clusters, recessed, tack, Speedo, etc. But stuff gets stuck in there, you know. Somebody sneezes on there, it's gross, but you got to clean it up. So
I try to
Sneeze a lot on your.
I mean, I don't, but I bought cars that clearly looked like
I
it.
try to like sneeze into my
elbow, like you were trained in preschool.
into my coin holder.
Fun half is the second half.
Oh yeah, sorry. So, but to that point though, do your best to use a high quality towel for cleaning out those gauges, mainly for the fact that once they get too scratched, once they get too marred, not only is it going to make it harder to see through, but polishing those out is a complete pain. You're better off just removing the whole cluster itself and removing that plastic piece and polishing that out to remove those scratches, but trying to fit a polisher into that such a recessed area,
You're gonna have a bad time.
you're going to have a bad time. You don't want to do that. So, here we go. So Danny Israel says, can the new Air...
You skipped over Thomas.
Sorry. So Tom says, Morgan trying to talk to me. I got calls to answer.
Yeah.
Do you know who Tom is, Morgan?
It's Thomas.
Thomas who?
Oh, Thomas from up front, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't know he was a fan.
I
That's awesome.
wasn't aware. I mean, he works here, but that's by no
They're all
means a requirement
fans
to being
of
a
the
fan.
show.
Yeah,
I love
we
it.
don't force him to learn on Q&A Thursdays.
Definitely.
Danny Israel says, can the new Air be a coating fridge?
It could. You can set the temp wherever you want it. I mean, if you know the exact temp that your coating needs to be at, then...
it's like a 1 through 5, Dane. So what would you store? What would you store
5
your?
So
degrees.
you call up New Air and you say, what temperature does each of these little settings tend to go to? I would think.
Good question.
Yeah, ask them. I'd be curious to hear.
Yoshi says, Morgan, I wish people would acknowledge me when they walk into my office. That's a McMurray quote right there.
Yeah.
It is true. She doesn't get a whole lot of attention.
I know.
So we got
Everyone here hates me. It's crazy.
Oh.
Illusions Autos says, car detailing by Pat Inc. says, beadmaker can be layered. It cures after 6 hours. So I would add the second layer after the first initial curing. So you could technically do that if you wanted to do that. You could top it off again.
But like we said, diminishing returns after you do it.
Again, you're only going to be able to put
Yeah.
so much on there before you start getting streaking. At that point, you've kind of overdone it. Ricky, coming out from all the way from which island is he
PR.
on?
Oh, Puerto Rico.
yes.
He's the one who loves the fact that when we ship something to him, it takes like 2 days and it's already there.
Can you
every
believe
time.
that?
I love that.
Says hello TRC game. We got JWL says hello from Huddersfield, UK.
Hey, welcome to the show.
That's a new one. I haven't heard Huddersfield.
No, that's cool. It's a very English-sounding name, so I
Yeah, I
totally
like that.
makes sense.
Delphine Bez says, hi everyone. What's the reality of UV protection on paint and headlights? It's a little hard to believe it makes a big difference in the long run. I use my Colonite Wax plus bead maker.
Oof, it does though. It really does. If you're the kind of person who has bought a car like I have that has paint failure, clear coat failure, or something like that, it shows what happens if you don't do the bare minimum to protect against UV damage, because that's the first thing that'll eat through and just...
It's a combination of a lot of things, right? You know, it's a combination of yes, UV. It's having some UV inhibitors, right? Some things to help.
Even paint with good clear, though, like if you have like a tinted clear or something like that, paint under the clear can get sun basically bleached
They can, yeah.
through the clear. Even if there's a lot on there, you still got to protect what's underneath.
Yeah.
Because UV rays will change the color of paint underneath the clear over time. If the car sits outside in a parking lot, 9/10 out of the year, it really does make a difference.
Well, a good example. So a couple years ago, remember I told you I traded a detail for a set of wheels, right, on my Honda Civic.
That's a deal.
And I did a polish job on this guy. He had an EG Honda Civic hatchback. It was a 1994, right?
Yeah.
In red. And when I first looked at it, it was definitely faded. It was super, super faded, and I couldn't remember if that was a single stage or if that had clear on it at the time. And I said, let's just polish it out and let's just see what happens. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is going to look really, really good. We're really going to deepen that red color. A lot of that red's going to come back after a couple passes. We'll hit it with a microfiber, finish out with a foam. And what ended up happening was that pink just turned a shinier level of pink.
Because all you're doing is affecting the clear coat above the color coat.
Correct.
The color coat is where the damage was.
And the color,
it was UV damage.
The color had faded so much, and there was areas where the clear had been failing, and all sorts was going on. But one of the biggest things that I noticed was actually how dry the clear can get, right? And on a lot of those older cars that don't get UV protection, a lot of that clear can really dry out. A lot of that paint can really dry out and get chalky and not look right and not feel right. And that's when you start getting different levels of clear coat failure. So if anything, think about it like this. You are moisturizing the paint like you are your skin with putting lotion on, protecting from cracking, protecting from weather. And then the UV protection would be like you putting on your sunscreen, right? Protecting yourself from a sunburn. And it's it's a lot of the same analogies and skin analogies
You
that
don't
like
want your car getting cancer,
that-
folks.
no, gosh, no, not at all.
Melanoma in the paint? No thanks.
Yeah, not good, Dane. All right, so hopefully that kind of helps, Delphine. Going down here, we got hi from Twinsburg, Ohio. That's a new one too. That's a new one. I like that. JWL says, what is better as far as protection against contamination is concerned, an LSP that sheets or beads water?
Oh, the age-old debate. You can have a product that sheets and beads.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the way the water is applied.
Yep, it's very, very true. And I mean, I don't want to get too far into that, but I mean, basically,
Everybody has their opinion.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how water is sprayed, depending on how. Oh man, I feel like I'm about to get really into this because I just want to just keep it simple. But if I were to turn my hose onto the mist setting, any car with protection will most likely begin to bead, right?
Even if it's not a particularly impressive product.
The second I start introducing a larger flow of water, a larger amount of water, right, those beads will begin to collect. It will get heavier, and that's when the sheeting possibilities increase tenfold, and it will begin to sheet. So if I were to take my little mister setting thing off my hose and just use pure hose water, I am going to create a sheeting effect on that. And so it all depends on how water is sprayed. I mean, the way, and it also depends on the panel too, what angle the panel is on, and how is that water going to be collecting in an area? Is it going to collect so much in an area? Is it going to get so heavy on itself that it's going to begin to sheet and create a large wave that falls off? Or is it just going to bead or it beads up into larger beads? It's very subjective to the situation.
I mean, you're going to know if you have really lousy protection or no protection at all when you spray a vertical panel on a vehicle and it still manages to have this kind of flat-looking water just sticking to the surface.
Yeah, and in terms of contamination, thinking about the whole contamination thing, contamination can form on any type of protection that no matter how it's marketed, whether it's a beading protection or a sheeting protection, you can have contamination from anything. I mean, that's like saying, hey, if a bird craps on my car, what's the chance that bird crap is going to bead or sheet off my car? Probably none. It's probably just going to sit on there like a normal bird dropping is, and it's just going to sit there and bake in.
The best thing you can hope for is that you have some sort of very strong protective product sitting over the paint wherever that happened to hit.
That makes the paint
so it can take the hit rather than your clear or your color coat.
And makes it easier to remove the bird dropping when that comes. I mean, basically removing a bird dropping off of an unprotected car that's been baking in the sun for half a day versus a protected car, that bird dropping will literally just melt right off the second you wipe it, whereas an unprotected car, that'll be a little more stubborn. So.
Yep.
Steve Spencer said something inappropriate. Josh Randall says, good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Illusions Auto says, speaking of cookies on the table, I cannot stand crumbs in perforated seats. It's such a pain. I use toothbrushes and even a dental gum stimulator. Ooh, I like the way that sounds. Is there an easier way?
Unfortunately, it's literally just the act of physically having to remove them from the perforations. There's
Can you not blow them out with air?
So
you could try air, but that's kind of like that's like a flamethrower to it. It's going to be a really broad approach. It's not necessarily
really depends on and how much buildup has started is happening in those little holes.
Yeah, is it like one crumb or is it several?
Because I mean, some of the times it's not even crumbs. Sometimes it's literally just clogged perforations.
Or somebody used like a cream or something that just kind of built up, went through it, and just kind of gathered.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how you would have that many consistent crumbs in a situation like that unless you were to, obviously take your hand and wipe a bunch of crumbs into the holes.
Yeah, like if you literally sit there and you just cheese grater it into it, that's the only way I could see that happening with any regularity. But then again, there's a lot of things I wouldn't put it past kids to
No,
do
I would know. I would absolutely
so
do that as a kid. I would say
smash
those Cheetos and scrub them into that seat.
Enjoy.
So, yeah, you're on the right path. Compressed air, like Morgan said, you would basically, what you would do is you would press down on an area of the leather, right, to maybe try to leverage that air towards blowing it out rather than in or deeper inside those holes. And
You wouldn't even have to use like an air compressor, like a full setup. You could go in with like that PC style air compressed air. You could go in with a little straw. You could poke it in the perforation. You could blow if it was small enough to fit through.
I don't think
That's a big thing. If you're gonna end up dilating the hole, you don't want to do that. You
gotta
just
be
want to
careful
spray
what
it
you
in there,
dilate.
but at least it can give you a chance to direct the air.
I don't know if those have enough.
It wouldn't have a lot of pressure. That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go precise, that's a precision instrument in that case.
Yeah, so the Color Walk guys, you know what they used? They used essentially a dental gum stimulator. What it looked like a dentist tool, like a dental scraper is what they used.
Like a dental pick.
But you want to be careful because you can easily make that hole bigger with one of those.
Scratch.
If you're not careful.
Yeah, you got to be really careful.
Here we go. So Nicholas Anderson says, "Hi TRC crew, which towel do you recommend to buff off ceramic coating, and what do you do with them after? Love the show."
I think he's talking leveling.
Yeah, so so the towel that we recommend to use the most is going to be the Pearl, which is our Pearl Weave, also known as one of our coating towels. And so the Pearl comes in an edgeless version and an overlock stitch version. The choice is yours. One's green, one's ice gray, and those tend to be our absolute favorite for leveling coatings because they're absolutely paint safe. They're an 80-20 blend, which is kind of the opposite of what some people would think of when removing a coating, right? They think they would want a 70-30, but in situations with coatings, right, the idea is that you want to leave more on the surface and less into the towel, whereas an 80-20 is only so much is less absorbent than a 70-30, and because of the style of the weave kind of goes back into itself on a Pearl, whereas on a traditional terry weave, you have more of elongated fibers that kind of tend to stick outward that will grab into more of the paint. So a Pearl is going to glide across and level the coating easier, knocking down the coating but not necessarily removing more of the coating than what's necessary. And then Pearl weaves aren't prone to linting because that's just not the style of towel that they are.
No, they're very dense, very flat.
Yeah. We got Steve Spencer says, "What's the best rag to clean hard interior surfaces, and what spray for low shine can I use?" Morgan, take it away.
Boom.
Hey, thanks, guys. Just eating some almonds here. Looks like Anthony's also going to have some.
I'm going to have a little bit. Yeah, why not, right?
So hard interior surfaces, recommended towels.
Personally, what I use, depending on what I have clean at the time, because I'm not the best at always washing my towels, but I typically go for a 365, an Edgeless 365, or a 300.
Those are safe choices for that.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to get like that last pass, you want to have something a little flatter, a little bit more surface area touching the surface area that you're working on.
Yeah, just a little something. Nothing, no overkill for the interiors, really.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It's my motto. And what spray? I personally really like the Woa's Interior Finisher because it doesn't really leave like a
It's like matte
shine.
finish.
Yeah, it doesn't really like change how it looks, if that makes sense. And it smells really good.
Smells awesome. Yeah. I think that's Levi's favorite product in the Woa's
it is
line.
too. Yeah.
I have to speak for him because he's not here for some reason, so.
All right,
That's
Dan,
the way
you
it
got
goes. All right. Now,
Vigor.
moving down the line. Hey, Vigor Auto Detailing. Freaking red vines. What the hell? I want some.
Whoa,
Buddy.
Dane, watch your mouth.
Whoa.
No, well, I'm just
I think
reading.
it means what the heck.
Yeah, well,
This is a PG
Sorry,
podcast.
we're adults here. We operate at PG-13 level, so we
Oh
can
my.
say
Well, I gotta go
basic cusses. It's okay.
Basic cusses.
Basic cusses.
I can't do this anymore.
I need to
Give me-
go. Hey, I think Levi's actually calling me. I need some help.
Any rate, I'm going to move on down the line. TJ Sands. What would be your top 3 go-to pads for the Rupes LHR 15 Mark III that would cover most paint correction jobs? Well, TJ Sands, I'm going to ask Anthony this one because I know he knows a thing or two about working with an LHR 15.
Thanks, Dane, for having me.
You bet.
So, my go-to 3 pads, right? I'm going to give you some options here, right?
I want to guess them.
You want? Okay, you just want to guess? All right, go for it.
So, Dane, don't touch my mic. My guess is the yellow, the Rupes yellow. Obviously, that's an easy one. The coarse wool. And That's the last one.
I really wish Anthony wouldn't eat so close to the microphone.
I think people here enjoy it, and if they didn't, then they would leave. So we got the yellow, the coarse wool, and
Finish it
Wait,
out.
Tim,
Orange.
if you're over there, who's producing?
orange.
It'll be in soon, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear me?
Soon, but soon.
All right, so you're on the right path, Morgan. So I'll lay it out like this, right? My top 3 favorite pads from all 3 pad manufacturers that we have here at the Rag Company, right? For the LHR 15 Mark III.
Oh, okay.
So, in the Rupes family line, my 3 favorite pads are going to be the coarse hybrid wool, which is going to be the bluish pad with kind of like that wool microfiber fixture.
Right.
I love that because I feel like that pad specifically doesn't clog up as fast, but gives me plenty of cutting power. I have a really long working time, and I feel like that it breathes really, really well. I found that the intermediary foam that you have in there between the Velcro backing and the actual wool itself, I feel like it breathes really, really well. I feel like I haven't had situations where I built up too much heat and have had that foam actually begin to break down. And I would say that those pads I can get anywhere from, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 cars on, depending on how hard I go and what speed setting I'm working at. So I love those, absolutely. Next up is going to be the Rupes yellow foam.
Okay.
Speaks for itself. One of my favorite all-around, just universal pads.
It's versatile.
Yep, for compounding, polishing, whatever I'm doing. I just love the yellow foam. I think it just holds up ridiculously well. And then I really love the white Rupes pad, which we actually don't sell. I've just found myself in situations where I needed to finish out with something really, really mild. And with like hyper polish, for example, with the Rupes white, love it. For like a quick, like, like a glossifying step, or like for like a kind of like a jeweling step, that's probably one of my favorite go-tos. And I think the white foam is also a very, I don't know.
It's gentle.
It's gentle, right? But it can go through a lot. It can take a beating. I think that it's just as durable as the yellow. It's just obviously a different style of foam. In the Lake Country line, my top 3 would be the microfiber compounding pad. Would probably be the orange HDO pad, and then one more. I'm actually a really big fan of the purple wool, and so I mean technically, between the purple wool and the white microfiber, I kind of bounce back and forth between, because I like using with the last cut, and I feel like I just get a ridiculous amount of cut from it. But depending on the job, the microfiber pad from Lake Country, the flat pad, right, doesn't seem to contour as well when I'm working on something that maybe has more of a an angular body line or something.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with the foam or with the wool, right, I can really get that wool into areas and work it better.
Because it
then
kind of has a pile to it, so
it does have a pile, yeah. So it does reach, right? And I like the fact that with the last cut, it's a very low dusting compound, so I don't have the mess that a wool pad would generally
you don't want to
make.
be flinging stuff around. That gets
Yeah.
old really fast.
Yeah.
And causes
Nothing-
more work. You don't want to
Nothing
go cleaning everything
enrages me more than that, Dane. So, and then lastly, for Buff and Shine, my 3 for Buff and Shine is going to be the maroon pad, hands down, fantastic
up.
pad.
Everybody seems to like those.
If I'm not
Yeah.
in between the yellow pad or the yellow pad from Rupes or the orange from Lake Country, I'll typically bump to the maroon pad because the maroon pad can finish out really, really well. And then the more I've used the salt and pepper pad, the more I like it. I wasn't sure on it at first. It was kind of like an up in the air. Didn't really know if it was for me, but the more I've used it, I've liked it. And then lastly, I would say that the yellow pad from Buff and Shine is also really, really good. Very similar foam to the Rupes yellow foam. You would almost, like when you look at them side by side, they look very, very similar. The Rupes is just slightly, I don't know, like lighter, I guess you can say. I'd say that the Buff and
okay.
Shine is just a little bit more dense. Under
It's
close,
packed a little more tightly.
yeah, under close examination. But I like the yellow a lot more than the blue Buff and Shine. I'm not
Got
a
it.
huge fan of the blue Buff and Shine, but the yellow is something that I do actually like. So
Okay.
that's me. I mean,
That's a great lineup. That
there's
gives people something to think
9 pads instead of just the 3. So
about. Very well.
Ricky says, have you guys got experience using Avalon King coating? Was talking last weekend to one of my buddies who bought a bottle of it and hasn't used it. So actually, Avalon King is usually chilling in these comments here.
Yeah.
Our buddy Andrew, he actually does some of the marketing for Avalon King, and I'm sure he could chime in. I have never used it before. I can't speak to that. So hopefully somebody will be able to
If you look up Andrew Howell on Facebook, he'd be able to answer your questions. Otherwise, you could just go to their site. But we know we would speak highly of Andrew because he's good at what he does. So, yeah.
We got Scott Weaver says, when is WOWO's going to be releasing gallons? End of March, I think, is what the plan is for that. And so probably say another month, maybe a month and a half, hopefully around that time. Delphine says, how come my tires seem more difficult to clean with my brush and shampoo after I applied Tire Shine? My brush is 3 times blacker and doesn't foam. I use CarPro Pearl or CGVRP.
Both very common, popular products. As far as them being more difficult? So I think is she saying like the dirt's not coming off as easily?
It doesn't. My brush is 3 times blacker and doesn't foam, but my tires are harder to clean.
So she's trying to build up a lather on top of that.
You might be having an issue building up a lather because the tires are technically kind of sealed up, because you've put protection on them last time. That could be it. But
that also means that the dirt shouldn't be getting in as much in the first place.
Or they may not just be ready to clean. They're not. One thing that I've found, right, and this is something that I think people have gotten the habit of scrubbing their tires with every single wash, even though they're applying their Tire Shine every single week. And what I've found is that I think that's kind of unnecessary with some of the dressings that are out there. I don't think that your tires need to be scrubbed every single week. I think that they might just need to be wiped down, right? And that's the kind of the difference is that you're already, halfway into this wash or wherever you're at in the wash, and you've already applied your wheel cleaner to your wheels, and you're like, okay, I'm cleaning my wheels, but you don't realize that your tires may still have some protection on them, or they still may be black. They just may have some dust on them that need to be wiped down. And I think with the benefit of using a more modern day dressing is that some of those can just be wiped down, and you don't have to necessarily re-scrub them every time because they may not be getting as dirty as you think they are.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And that's just me. I mean, that's coming from a guy that, I religiously clean my cars every week, and I just know that sometimes it's overkill to scrub the tires every single time.
I was going to say, if it's like a daily driver and you're in really harsh conditions all the time with it, maybe at most like once every couple of weeks would you need to be like really thorough about it. Because for most cars, when we do like a video and we go like really hard into the tires to make sure we're getting all the browning out and all that stuff, that's because that car's probably never had its tires properly cleaned in its life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of those things where it's kind of like a reset button. Once you've done it, you shouldn't have to do it as often.
Hans Closen says, yes, just did the Insta questionnaire, but got a few messages while doing it, so missed 2 or 3. Oh. Damn, people bothering me. Dang it, Hans. We got CJ Burns says, everything out of Anthony's mouth is a blessing and some type of creepy double entendre. Who knows, man? It's just you interpret it how it is.
He's wired that way.
Delphine Bez says, how often would you apply interior detailer inside the car, hot climate all year round? So interior detailer, interior finisher, maybe from WOWO's is maybe what you're referring to? Or just an interior detailer in general?
So if you're cleaning it, it's whenever it's dirty. But as far as like protecting it and stuff, the protection should last from the last time you put it in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're honestly you're hitting plastics and stuff like that maybe once a month. Yeah. I mean, if you can, like, for example, if it's your daily driver and it's in a hot climate, or if it's sitting outside constantly, or it has a fluctuation in temperature constantly, like, then your leather, right, should be treated let's just say every 6 months, right? Try to stay up on every 6 months, 3 to 6 months, or try to find a system that works for you to kind of keep up on your leather. But your plastics, maybe once a month, and that's typically just from dust collecting. Like, I find that I will hit my plastics and interior stuff more when it's summer and windows are down. Lots of dust is getting in, a lot of buildup is happening. I'll usually stay more on it, and as well as his heat can break down protection pretty fast too. So maybe I'd say once a month, Delphine. Ricky says it actually took 36 hours door to door, Boise to San Juan this week.
Wow,
man, that's amazing. It's almost like we're hand delivering that.
Yeah,
it's almost like one of us is getting on a plane and Levi is showing up to Ricky's house and saying, "Special delivery.
Here you go, bud.
For you, Ricky." And looks him straight in the eyes and smiles and walks away. Oh, speaking of the guy.
Goodness. Okay, well,
coming in here hot.
Man of the hour.
Is what we say. I think that's the actual term.
So Ricky is saying something about you signed his MOS hat.
Yeah.
I did. Ricky actually sent it in the other day. Well, he put it in his order.
Yeah.
So Ricky tried to buy also one of the mesh extra large hats.
Ooh,
which
comfortable hat.
We were out of stock of that size. So it's
Ah.
going to be a couple of weeks before
More.
that shows up. So one of the things we did was signed his MOS hat.
Wow.
So pretty exciting. I love doing things like that. If you guys do need a autograph from the
autograph.
team,
Yeah.
any of us are proud to do it. If you need, you want to send in your Christmas tree, have Dane sign it. Just ship it over.
Sign the individual needles.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe
Tedious.
a Christmas ornament signed by the
Okay.
team would be great.
That might be
Oh,
more
we should
like
do
it.
We should do Christmas ornaments one year, right? Like little what they'll be little cuts of eagle squares,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just a little like used cloth, right? And people be like,
Why?
"What is that?"
Why
and
can't
they're
it
like,
just be a regular?
I was gonna say, otherwise it could be a little metal ball with like our
delicious
face
treats.
printed on it or something.
I'm thinking for
Yeah.
cost, Morgan, we're trying to keep the cost down on these things, and we already have the towels.
I think it's okay.
Okay, so getting into it, so JWL says Huddersfield is a big town, one of the largest in Europe. In Yorkshire, it's pronounced Yorkshire, by the way.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yorkshire.
I didn't know that was Yorkshire. I thought it was Yorkshire.
Like we're going to be going to Lincolnshire.
I didn't. Oh, that makes more sense because I was thinking it was like the Shire, like a Lord of the Rings situation.
Well, it's written that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how would anybody know any different, right?
Yeah, sure, you betcha.
Yeah. Well, Dane, we're not Canadian. Mr. 847 in the Zeal one of our grand ambassadors of
Are
Are you guys
2019.
cold?
House.
Because why is the doors
No, this
open?
is we got it open to cool off because
Oh.
it was really hot.
You guys
in
started
here.
getting warm.
We're letting it breathe in here, baby.
Nice and cool.
Well, you
Yeah.
brought all this sugar for us to
I
brew.
did. You guys
Yeah, this is
started eating it.
dangerous. I'm deliberately drinking sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah.
okay, good.
So he says, do any of the WOA's products remove crystal sealant or contact 121? Wheel cleaner, iron remover, or all-purpose cleaner? Negative. So
While
here's
it's still curing.
so well while it's
ahead.
curing, possibly right. If I could have told you how much different testing I have done on different hoods, it would haunt
man.
people. But
Why would you do that? Yeah,
but
you
Chris-
did the
but that
things.
was a very specific test that I did. Actually, I did that exact test. Is almost a year ago. I basically pulled the whole line and sprayed crystal sealant and contact 121 on a hood, and then took all of the most aggressive WOA's products in the line, being the iron remover, the all-purpose cleaner, and the wheel cleaner, and I sprayed it on. Let it sit, rinsed it off, sprayed it
Sunbaked.
on, agitated it, rinsed it, sprayed it on, sunbaked it, agitated it. So after about several applications of the wheel cleaner, you will start to have some breakdown of contact 121. However, crystal sealant was unaffected, which was pretty much the most crazy. And I think that really comes down to the pH of the wheel cleaner not being super alkaline, whereas I think an alkaline cleaner is going to have a much faster and easier time breaking down a lot of the coatings and a lot of the sealants out there, even if they're resin-based or SiO2-based. So, and then the all-purpose cleaner is the all-purpose cleaner is a very safe all-purpose cleaner. I mean, it literally says it's safe on everything down to the kitchen sink, and it was designed that way. It's not a very potent all-purpose cleaner, but it does what an APC needs to do, whereas the iron remover and the wheel cleaner are definitely going to be stronger. That's why the wheel cleaner needs to be diluted.
Optimum
So-
Power Clean would also be stronger.
Yeah.
Optimum Power Clean is very strong. It
So
is
here's the
very
thing.
strong.
While you're still applying crystal sealant, if you can take, let's say you apply the hood,
Yeah.
and maybe it starts to streak because maybe you weren't quick enough as you start to do, like, let's say you start on the passenger fender, you do the hood,
You come back to the passenger fender.
you do the driver's fender. No, just
Okay.
let's say you do the passenger fender,
Okay.
apply it,
Yeah.
take it off,
Yeah.
perfect.
Perfect.
Do half the hood, you
Okay.
put it on, maybe you stretch yourself a little too far on the hood and you don't get it in time, and you start doing the other side and you're like, I can kind of see some streaks. In that time period, just take some ammonia.
Okay.
If you can take some ammonia, spray it on the hood, you'll be able to, one, effectively remove those streaks,
Yeah.
start over, relay crystal sealant. I would recommend laying it in the opposite direction of how you laid it. But that will kind of stop the process. Hit it with some alcohol, hit it with some, or hit it with ammonia, then hit it with alcohol, then lay crystal sealant again.
Okay.
And if you do still have some light streaking, quick detailer. What was quick detailer? If you have that on hand, you're able to spray quick detailer on the surface, and that will help level and pull out some of the high spots Crystal leaves behind.
I think people will probably reach for that before the ammonia. I think they'll
Yeah,
probably
but
be a
if
little
you get
freaked out
past,
about
but if
the
you get
ammonia
past
thing.
the ammonia, if you get past that, I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you get
If
past
you're a
and
crazy
you want to,
person.
You start
if
feeling,
you
you
wanna
start feeling pretty
reset,
good,
yeah.
and you
But
know.
if you want to reset,
Yeah.
and you're like, now
Yeah.
if you get to that streaky part, spray some quick detailer on it. But if you don't have quick detailer, you have to restart. So
Yeah.
And Adam Thurman found that out, and we talked about it on the phone and
Yeah.
got it squared away. So, but you could, but if you didn't want to spray the car down with a bunch of stuff and rewash the vehicle, that's the way we would go. I'd always recommend having quick detailer on hand to just help that. So,
Yeah. We got Dan Pfeiffer says, "Good afternoon and word up from sunny
Ooh.
Minneapolis." Wow.
Ooh.
Very nice.
very
some
nice.
sun out
3
over
of
there.
4. Thanks,
Aw.
Dan.
Wow.
Thanks.
All right.
Who's the
That was
uncool?
that was
I
before
was the one that
Levi
was uncool.
here.
I
So-
think he's saying one
so
of us isn't cool.
I apologize for one being
Yeah.
late.
Do you want to give us your excuse?
No,
You're
I'm not
tardy.
going to give you guys an excuse.
Okay.
Were you helping a customer?
No, my dad called and I haven't talked to him for a few days, and so it was
Okay.
kind of important that I talk to him, and so we had some father-son stuff to get
I would
out,
also
so
put my parents in more importance in the Q&A.
It was one of those where I needed to get this out, so was outside talking to him on that. So anyway, I apologize for my late start there, but what'd they think of the new Air Fridge commercial?
I think they enjoyed it. At first,
Hope
they were
you guys like
confused,
that.
but they
Say.
enjoyed it.
That's a
From the
double
hollow
stuffed,
tree.
Oh boy.
double stuffed EL fudges.
It's just crazy that those little elves are in that tree making these things.
Yeah,
I wonder if they are, OSHA approved in there.
maybe, you never know.
Yeah, you hope they get breaks.
So, Hans,
No,
remove
they don't.
crumbs with a Tornador. Yes, that's the great way to do it. Danny Israel, Anthony, how do you protect your motorcycle gas tanks? You want a grip for your legs, but paint protection. What about detailing that bike chain? Thanks. So, fun fact, Anthony actually has magnets on his suit
Yeah.
around his ankle or around his thighs.
It's the craziest thing.
It's weird. And every time he puts his leg over, they're strong magnets.
Yeah, he's
Well,
got to be careful.
I
If
mean,
he
and they
falls
just
off
like
that thing, he's just
they
dragged
just
underneath
link
it.
right on, and he is stuck to the
Well, now
bike.
keep in mind that my leather suit actually has hooks, right? So I can actually hook myself
Oh,
into the
even
tank.
better. Even better.
Is that
Just
what it's for?
attach
So
them on there.
it's a dual-purpose suit,
Yeah.
and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
So
You do know that Kelly watches this podcast, right?
no, she
My.
does not. God bless her. Danny,
No, but it's a
on
safety feature. It's like a seatbelt for a bike.
Oh my.
so on a real note,
I
Danny.
don't
So
think
I
I'm
have
gonna get stuck to it.
they're called
Sticky pads.
They're sticky pads. They're made by I think when I say something Technic.
Not made by Stanley.
No, it's called something Technic. I
I
can't
have
remember
one in
what
the
the heck it
center
is.
console.
Technic.
No, it's not G Technic. It's
Oh.
called Technic something, but they
It's
are
made by a honey farm.
called snake skin pads, and they're rubber
Oh, made
pads,
of snake
and
skin.
they're tank pads.
Tank pads.
Yeah,
Levi, we missed you.
they're really grippy, and so I don't worry about I don't spray anything onto those areas because that's where my thighs are gripping onto. But
Wow.
as far as everywhere else on the tank, I layer on the protection. So I think like right now, my bike has a combination of Optimum Car Wax and Bead Maker. It's some kind of combination of that, and so then I top
This is
it
so
with
noisy.
like I usually just clean it up every once in a while, remove the dust with OptiClean. Now the chain, going back to the chain detailing thing, I thought I explained this, but maybe you missed it. I use a DuPont chain degreaser. It's O-ring safe, and so
Makes fine chain degreasers.
they really do. And it's O-ring safe, X-ring safe, all that kind of stuff. And so I basically just liberally spray the degreaser onto the chain, and then I take like a blue shop towel and then do like a ring around. And there I also have a grunge brush. The grunge brush is more of a messy process than I'd care to admit, but it's basically a brush that attaches onto the link or onto the chain itself, and then
I'm just
you
picturing Eddie
kind of-
Vedder brushing things.
you just kind of go back and forth like that, and then you rotate the wheel, and that'll give you a nice clean chain. Then after that, I'll typically hit it with some more degreaser, wipe it out with a blue shop towel, and then I will, because I'm super weird about this stuff, I don't like degreasers sitting on the wheels and everything else in the powder coat. I will typically wash the areas where the degreaser is hit, but I try to do my best to grab like a piece of cardboard and kind of like shove it behind the chain, so I have like a backsplash of spraying it. After I do that, that's
like
when
a shield.
Yeah, shield.
Correct. And then I put my DuPont chain guard wax on. It's just a spray wax that actually hardens, which is super, super cool.
Yeah.
So after about 30 minutes, it'll go from being a very liquidy thing to a rock solid wax, but it sticks around for a long time. And I typically clean my chain, I don't know, every 3 months or so, and I'm usually good to go. So,
Yeah.
Your
That's
mother
very nice.
says you should do that every day.
well, yeah,
okay,
you
yeah.
clean, wax your chain every day, whatever you
Yeah.
want to do, man.
Delphine, I've been using my brand new Gauntlet towels to dry my car with Bead Maker. Do we lose more product with that thick towel? Do you believe it's efficient? Anyway, I really love it. Delphine, honestly, it's whatever you're spraying on the car, you're not going to be using more product in reality. You're probably
Yeah.
going to be absorbing more water.
Yeah.
But if you're spraying the same amount on the car, don't break it. Use two
Open it with
hands.
2 hands like a
Well,
grown
he
up.
doesn't have the
you're like
biggest
Augie.
hands.
Augie just cuts things
Oh
open.
boy.
Just
All
rips
right.
them, and you're like, there was a reseal thing right there.
Yeah, he would cut this all open and
That's
then
Bob Ryder
All right.
here. Thanks to your podcast, I am now a proud owner of a Dixon flannel.
Oh, very
My
nice.
man. All right, Bob.
What?
Excellent choice.
Welcome to the
Excellent
club.
choice.
We
One
really
of
do have
us.
our own, guys.
One of us.
Out of
So-
curiosity, which model did you get?
Model.
Yes.
What year?
So, fun fact, Nick, our technical director, just got his first 2 Dixons as well. Wrong size, so he mailed them back. So he's going to get the new one.
What'd he get?
I don't know, but he got a bamboo, and then I think he bought a red line.
So is the bamboo
So-
like a Hawaiian shirt kind of style
Yeah, it's
thing?
a
or-
short sleeve,
Oh,
button
cool.
up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
I
Very
wouldn't
fun.
recommend everyone else.
So
Formal,
mind.
yet a little bit
yeah.
flashy.
Yeah. So Vigor Auto Detailing. First off, Anthony eating those red vines is straight sexy.
My
Secondly,
boy.
what do you guys think of animals as leaders? I'm against it.
He's talking about a band.
I'm not
'Cause
taking
he
any
sent us
any rules
a video
from
of
animals.
a band called
Animal
Animals
Farm.
as
I'm a
Leaders.
human. and
Animal
I am
Farm.
smarter than an animal.
What was that episode of a cartoon where the dolphins took over and they were like above ground people?
I don't remember
That's
that. What
very
show was that?
vague.
I think you're confusing your. Oh well, that was in South Park, but that was manatees.
Not the man. Maybe it was the manatees.
The manatees controlling the narrative
Whale
of
war-
stuff. Yeah, and they're
whale
just like knock
wars.
balls
Okay.
into
I
a
thought it may have
area
been
that
like a
created a
Simpsons
It might have been
episode.
Whale Wars. I think you're right.
Oh,
I think
Where's the
That's
Family
the
Guy?
one episode of South Park that I've seen,
huh.
and I don't think it's called
Okay.
Wars either.
Bob Ryder, I know you cannot foam O&R, but can I put O&R in an IK Foam Pro 12 just so I have bigger volume of O&R to use as a pre-rinse? Sure, knock yourself out.
Yeah,
It's not going to
not
be
gonna
it's
work
not gonna hurt
right,
anything,
but
but it's going to
yeah.
it's going to spittle all over your car.
Are you eating the
it's going to be
raisins or throwing them
frustrating. I
away?
can tell you
Yeah.
that right now. You
We
won't
sure have a lot of
enjoy
snacks
it
here.
that way.
This is
Yeah.
a great snack day.
Does anybody
Snack
want
surplus.
some excess raisins? I've
No,
been
thanks.
putting them on the table.
Is there a reason you
I hate 'em.
separate? Oh, okay.
That's a good girl.
Thanks.
Corey Eggleston. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I reside in Baltimore, and I'm a vet of 20 years in the automotive detailing. Is there an
Ooh.
alternative for air compressors? What is the best body shop dressing / tire dressing?
Those are 2 questions.
So
Yeah.
I'm okay. Confused. Alternative
Confused.
for an air compressor?
What does that mean?
So like something instead of an air compressor that you can do air compressor things with. That unfortunately
Very
isn't
confused by that,
really.
Corey.
Maybe just give them an air compressor suggestion.
Yeah, so I like California Air Tools. So take a look at them. They make some very fast fill machines, and they're very quiet. What is the best body shop dressing, tire dressing? I think what you mean is something that has a low VOC or no VOCs,
Yeah, body
and is
shop
body
safe.
shop safe, meaning it doesn't have a airborne silicone. Woolworths Tire Restore, OptiBond tire dressing are both really great dressings. So,
Solid products.
Yep.
Yeah.
David C. Help. My new job uses Kirkland microfiber cloths. What do I suggest to them as a replacement from TRC? Need a very economical all-purpose cloth.
245s to 300s are a great place to start.
Yeah, man.
And
245.
honestly, I know a lot of these shops will get hung up on price. Well, this one's so cheap. But think about all the problems you can solve by having towels you can color code. And that's something we offer that you can't get from a Kirkland towels. They're all yellow, and that's it.
Yep.
So in the case of what we offer, yes, when you go through like our business program or buying wholesale, you're getting really close to the cost. I mean, when it all factors out, if their business is going through a lot of towels, it makes sense once you've used them for a while. And you will notice a difference in the quality of yarn as well.
Yep.
You're wrong.
Ricky Cologne, Delphine, about the tires, how old are they? I had similar issue on one of my cars, but it was because the tires were starting to get old. replaced the tires and have not had that issue again. That's great. Aaron's Random Life. Good evening, Rag Company folks. Hey, Aaron, what's happening?
Good evening.
Hans, I hope you had a blast of a birthday, Levi. I did. Thank you, Hans. It was very good.
He ate a whole cake.
I did have a whole cake for myself.
Just himself. He
man.
shared with me one piece, and his son ate the other part of it. But
Actually,
wow.
they ate more of it. The 2 pieces I brought to work were
What-
the 2 pieces.
What
I
kind of
ate.
cake was it for the folks at
Well,
home?
it's just called BT cake. It's a scratch-made chocolate cake with chocolate frosting that my mother-in-law made me.
yes,
Delicious.
it is the Matilda cake, is what it is. So made with blood, sweat, and tears.
Yep.
So
Augustus Galoop.
Delphine, my tires are 18 months old, and I brush them hard every 2 weeks because the road to my home is only made of stones. So they are harder to clean and detail properly with time, mud, and stones.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back. We were talking to Delphine earlier. Delphine was explaining that it was difficult to clean tires after a protective product had been applied previously.
Huh.
So they were using like Carpro Pearl or Chemical Guys VRP. Yeah.
yeah, I
Have
was
they been
saying,
doing a heavy straight power clean on them?
well, I was saying that they might just have too much buildup. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of different things that could create friction, not give that beautiful brown blooming that some people would like to see.
Yeah.
So,
Bloomin' Onion. All right.
Dana, I think we're all fans of Bloomin' Onion here on the Rag Company podcast.
Not me. I don't
Okay.
like
Except that guy.
Nope.
He hates onions.
Oh, okay. So
I'll take all the ones you don't.
we're going down because we got G. Davis that said
Yes.
something. Oh, wait, where are we at? We are.
We got to scroll down.
right down
G.
there,
Davis
G.
is at
Davis.
the
Did you already
bottom
get Tad, Scott, the beadmaker question?
Oh no,
Oh.
Tad. I didn't even see that one.
All
Tad
right.
said, "Can bead maker seal up towels when used as a drying aid when the towel isn't washed right away?" Yes, Tad.
Yep.
It can.
Yep.
So you do need to wash it or soak it, and make sure you use a little bit of vinegar in the bleach port.
At the very least, throw it into a bucket of water until you can get to it.
Oh, man, my favorite. G. Davis in the house saying, will Dane be available to sign Hanukkah items? Shalom. Great Dane Films.
Hashtag.
For you, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, I just might.
Jason M.
Send all your Hanukkah items to Dane here at theragcompany.com. Or, sorry, at the Rag Company, 5430 West State Street, Boise,
Yeah.
Idaho, 37003.
Jason M. Hey, TRC crew, long-time listener, first-time caller. What's your recommended towels for removing compound or polish? Planning on using Jesscar Correcting Compound and Sonax Perfect Finish. Okay, so towel for that position probably would just be, I like Creatures,
Creatures are really good for that.
especially when using the Jesscar Correcting Compound. It's kind of sticky, and it bites a little bit. So I like having the dual pile for Jesscar. Sonax, very simple, easy to wipe off. So again,
You got both
Creatures-
sides of a creature to work
Creatures
with.
work great for that. So,
Otherwise, Edgeless 365.
yeah, reach into Creatures and or Spectrums because they're the same towel. Just one's got an edge and one doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
We got Corey Eggleston.
Corey in the house.
Says, I'm glad I'm not the only fella that eats red vines.
That's right.
I feel better all of a sudden.
Yeah, me and my wife are a red vine family.
Are you a red vine family? So that's where. So
My
Kate-
dad's a Twizzler man.
So
How does that rift in the family
No.
work when you have Twizzler people and Red Vine people?
No,
Just
Does
means
it
that
get
when my
ugly?
dad has licorice in his house, it's Twizzlers, and when we have licorice in our house, it's red vines.
It's
Okay.
so here's the deal. Katie's a red vine girl.
Yeah.
I'm a Twizzler guy, right?
Oh, okay.
I just like the texture of Twizzlers, right? Because it's more firm, it's
very
more
waxy.
gummy, it's very
yeah,
waxy.
we like it. You like firm things in your
And
mouth.
so basically, what it comes
Levi.
down to is that the Twizzlers also have just a better overall flavor, right?
Yeah,
They have
well-
two different flavors: cherry, strawberry. Red vines, you're stuck with one particular flavor.
Arguably the best flavor
Now,
of licorice.
what the people I don't get down with are black licorice people. I don't
Oh,
trust
no,
them.
no, no, no,
I
no.
think
I-
they're wrong.
Yeah, well-
and I think that there's something not right in their head.
They're criminals.
See, when someone says good and plenty, I just see terrible and too much.
I don't know what's
that doesn't
black
sound good.
licorice people.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't
No,
know how that
I'm
works.
with you on the Twizzlers thing though, because I used to be addicted to strawberry Twizzlers.
Yeah.
Like
So
that-
good.
that-
I
that
like
was
the
good.
bites. Like the
Yeah,
bites are just
yeah,
so
the little
good.
bites are great.
You get those little bites
But
in your
for
mouth.
classic red vines, we used to get the tubs too. So
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I guess I
They
go
like to
both
bathe in
directions
red
on that one.
vines.
Yeah.
JJ, hello all. What is the recommended O&R ratio for an interior wipe down? Thank you in advance for your time and experience. Morgan.
256 to 1 is the standard for pretty much everything.
Yep.
It's true.
Ian Musgrove. Hey Levi, how was it for you going from a detail shop owner to more of a desk job when you started TRC? felt like a cop that was missing out on the beat. I had to. I kept telling Jeff, like, "Do you need me to wash your car?
Let me back
other
out there."
people need their cars washed. Could I test out that vacuum?" It felt awkward to just go sit at a desk for a while.
Have you ever seen?
So I've created this kind of movement, which I walk back and forth, and I go upstairs and downstairs, see if people need help. I'm still doing my job because I work on my phone most of the time. And Anthony also does that exact. He started to follow me around.
Yep, that's not true.
Yeah, you
but
don't want to become stagnant. But at
here's the
same
deal,
time,
though.
your
Since
joints
I
might
gained
thank
weight.
you.
I did gain a lot of weight.
Since Levi
Yeah.
started working at a desk, right? We got him to do a couple desk pops, which was really funny. Like, you want to do your first desk pop? He's like,
Yep.
what are you talking about? I'm like, everybody's done one.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Everybody freaked out and ran out of the building.
And they took my gun and gave me a wooden one.
All right, so going down, JJ says Red Vines over Twizzlers.
Greater
Can't
than.
even bring myself to capitalize it. Holy
Good
crap.
man. I like that.
Brutal.
And Jerry Joseph, who's probably the same JJ. What precautions do you guys take washing and drying premium towels at the laundromat? We don't take any precautions. We literally put them in the washing machine. We put
We're
laundry
animals.
we do. We put laundry detergent in, and
Morgan, how crazy did that laundry session the other day get for you?
You know, I've had weirder experiences at the laundromat this time around. There was just, you're going to find different kinds of people
Characters.
in places where people do laundry because everyone does laundry. So obviously you're going to get a good mix of people. Went okay though, got the towels done. Just I'm here, so honestly
So,
it went pretty
You're
good.
alive.
yeah. So a couple things. Liquid detergent, obviously. We always say bring your own detergent, free and clear
Don't
detergent.
use the powdered stuff.
Um,
Just don't.
Bring a little distilled white vinegar so you can put it in that bleach port as well if you'd like. In this case, we didn't. We just brought some cleaner.
Yep.
Use that. Put them in the dryer. Run them on low. We don't run them for the full cycle. Some of the towels Morgan brought back are just slightly, not fully dry, but they're fine.
I'd prefer to have them a little damp than
Yeah.
over dried.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And
You don't
so
want them crispy.
No.
So we'll probably bring them out and fold them, and that way they can dry the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about like soaked. They're not growing mold. They're not. They're close to being done. But yeah. So
And when you're, for reference, if your towels are a little damp and you notice they seem kind of flat, kind of lifeless, honestly, a shake. It seems obvious, but a good shake will wake them back up. In case of like fluffier towels,
They
stuff
call
like
that shaking and waking, Dane.
shake and wake.
Why not?
All right, Yoshi. When is the next Wash Wednesday? We kind of had a Wash Wednesday yesterday
And today.
and today. No. So as to when we're gonna film the next Wash Wednesday, we did one. It's in the books. It was a very impromptu. It's not traditional. Wash Wednesday. We did go for a ride. We were scared to death, but no. Yesterday we did. We went and filmed Dane's Montero. We washed it, but we drove it over to Nick's dad's house to wash it because they were having so much
There's construction
so
going
much
on
construction
outside
going
here.
on outside that we didn't have a spot we could wash. All the water is turned off on the property right now for the outside, so we would had to have like drug 3 or 4 hoses to find a space that we
Yeah.
could, because our parking lot is seriously like
We're
it's
maxed out.
out.
So it's going to be a detailing uncut, which I think some
Yeah.
people really enjoy because it's about 36 minutes long.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind detailing uncut is that it's just one continuous take. So whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, so we went around the corner to Nick's dad's house and washed it and parked in his driveway. But it was fun because Anthony, Dane, myself, Nick, and Jimmy riding in the Montero loaded with a hose, a pressure
Careful
washer,
taking that corner.
a couple
Whoa!
buckets. Okay, Dane, get ready to turn right. Okay, Dane, get ready to turn right. Dane, turn right. Oh! And then
I didn't know. You guys didn't tell me.
And all of us like screaming and holding onto the handles as we
While
turned
a
that corner.
tire is slowly deflating
Dane,
in the back.
when we got lost
Almost
multiple
flat tire.
times in Georgia, Dane said, "That's okay. There's always another turn."
I
in this
am
case,
an
there wasn't.
eternal optimist.
And that sounds
but
like something that would
low-key.
happen in a horror story. You know, oh, we missed our turn. We'll just keep going down this road till we find another turn.
So
and then
so we
everyone's
are
dead.
working on those, and then we did have a Porsche show up today, and we took some photos and watched it.
964.
But
Yes.
an actual video Wash Wednesday episode, it's on the books. We're going to work on trying to get one out for you guys. The hard part is we just haven't, with all the construction here, we haven't had an actual space to do a proper wash and
and
have
in
a
the
space to
few
do that.
moments in time where we've had time to be able to do it, we got customer service and
Well,
stuff.
and
We got to take
you
care
guys
of all
remember
these
we
other
live in
things.
Idaho and it's wintertime.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you guys as hosts,
sorry,
you're not,
Yosh.
you're not just hosts. You guys do a lot of the back end, like customer response stuff too. So.
Yeah. Well, everyone loves that. Loves
They like
my
hearing
show.
from
They
you
love
guys.
seeing my show, Wash Wednesday. It's one of their favorite
One of my
favorite
favorites.
shows to watch. Is Levi's.
That's funny.
Welcome to Levi's Wash Wednesday with the Rag Company, proudly sponsored by
New
Air?
New Air, newair.com. Grab yourself one of them ice cold Pepsis out of the Pepsi fridge. All right.
Chilly.
Dan Pfeiffer, no, I actually think 3/4 of you are cool. Boom. Oh,
Whoa.
very nice. Very
Whoa.
nice. He actually does think 3/4 of us are cool.
Yikes.
God.
That's nice. So, which
mean,
one
you
of
could
us
just
is
tell me to my face,
the question? Ricky, tire restore, real world benefit example. Requirement for last weekend's expo was that cars not have tire shine. I'm guessing the slingy type. I showed up with no dressing. Got the car in, pulled out an applicator, and went at the tires with Tire Store. Security guy was about to give me a hard time about the tires when he saw them. I told him to touch the tires. Tires were, of course, dry to the touch. The guard left me alone. Bullet dodged. Yeah!
And that is why you use Wowo's Tire Restore.
Yep. Next time, just put it on, have it totally bone dry, and roll in and see what happens.
Yeah.
They may not even stop because they'll be like, "Oh, you got to," and you go, "Don't touch the
Like,
tires."
wow, did you just buy those
Touch 'em
tires?
and go,
They look
"Oh,
great.
all right."
Yeah.
It is really crazy
They're like they're
how
spray
dry it
painted.
is. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
Rectangle.
So I was looking, Rectangle. I was looking at the IDA website, and I can only see to become a certified detailer, you have to take the exams. Is going to a training class not a requirement? No. You go to a training class. At some of these training classes, you can apply to take the IDA CD exam at the training. So you basically apply online, pay your due, and usually those trainings. So if you go to like Rennie Doyle's Big Bear training, take one of his detail class trainings, you can take the IDA certification exam and SV. He wraps both of them up into one and has you take them. So that is he usually includes that in the price or adds it as an additional fee. So in those instances, yes, you kind of have to. But on the website, we posted it so that you can take the CD exam on the website for the fee and the comfort of your own home. And very easy, simple to do. Take the exam and see if you can pass it. I will say it is not a difficult exam, but it will test your knowledge.
It's
And-
common sense if you've done detailing before.
Well, here's something that a lot of people don't know is that the way we wrote the exam is we do try and do a bit of a head game on a lot of them. And Anthony and Morgan have each taken the exam and passed. But there are some questions that are designed to throw you off and get in your brain and make you rethink or double, question yourself. I did just have to help a fellow who is taking the class because they reached out and said, hey, since you're the head of the certification committee, we do have a person who's trying to attempt to pass the CD, and it's 10 tests, 10 sections. On one of the sections, he couldn't pass it. He was about to take it for his 6th time.
Oof.
Yeah, dang.
So I called him up, and we walked through the exam, and I asked him the question, and I asked the answers and asked him to pick his answers. He told me which ones he picked and why. Now, his explanations were sound, but they were not the answer to the question.
He arrived at the wrong conclusion.
Arrived at the wrong conclusion, and so I explained to him, this is why this answer is correct. And he goes, oh my gosh, that makes sense. I didn't know that. So we walked through the whole exam. He gave me gave me his answers. I explained to him the proper answer on that for that one exam, and then let the IDA know to unlock the test again to allow him to retake it so that he could finally pass that part of the exam. But when people go, oh, it's just an online it's not. It was written by a lot of really smart guys in the detail
People
industry
who know what they're doing.
and the goal of it is it's a education. It's to make sure you know. So regardless, if you went to a training class, this would be an educational thing. This is a test you'd have to take afterwards.
Yeah.
Now, if you sign up and go to the CD in a Day or CDSV events, they do a PowerPoint presentation for the first hour or two that you go through with your team and the class and all that, discussing what is going to be on the test. So we do go through a bit
Yeah.
of training on that,
That's benefit
but
right there.
it's more of a review.
Yeah.
And it is to see where guys are going. And a lot of guys learn just from that part. They're like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Amazing.
take the test.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Future Person says Dolphin episode was The Simpsons.
Okay.
And JJ says Treehouse of Horror, Night of the Dolphin, Simpsons 2000.
nice.
So that's
Number
amazing.
11.
Like that's
Yeah.
how I know that these are my people, because the fact that they've also seen that episode where I'm not just some crazy guy saying, yeah, there's a cartoon with dolphins that took over, you know.
The fact that Treehouse of Horror 11 was in 2000 tells you just how long Simpsons has been around, man.
Dude, I love The Simpsons, man. It's been one of my favorite shows.
That's
Monorail
a lot of
episode.
bullshit.
Okay, Morgan. GFC says, I used OptiBond on my summer tires last year. Any issues switching over to Wowo's Tire Restorer this year? Which do you prefer and why?
Great question. Guys, let's weigh in.
Go right.
As he was.
So, Jeff, I'm going to say that no issue. They both have the same. They both act the same in the sense that they both bond with rubber. The Wowo's does have a blue tracer added to it to help in the application process. And again, as like Ricky has stated, it's dry to the touch, just like OptiBond.
Yeah.
So the longer you let it dwell, the longer the shine will get, or deeper the shine will be.
Yeah.
So realistically, the only difference at that point, obviously, besides that tracer, is that Wowo smells like peaches. So
And when you're using it, I feel like that's a benefit. I would
smells
lean
nice.
that direction just based on that, because I knew the results are going to be good either way.
yeah. Now I
Yeah.
will say use some power clean those tires.
Yeah.
Again, just because you'll get proper adhesion for
That
the
makes all the
Wowos.
difference, the prep.
So that's the best one. Yeah.
Yep.
So Morgan, JP.
All right, guys, we got an important question here.
Ooh.
Are beards the future of detailing? And do you reckon that in the future you will need a beard to be a proper detailer? What do you think, Levi? Pitch your ideas.
I'm gonna say that I don't think it's a requirement.
Your face says you're
I
bonehead.
Well, if
Detailed-
it is, then
I
I'm going to
detailed-
have an issue.
Just so you know, I detailed for a number of years, clean shaven. Didn't have a beard. Only in my old age have I decided to grow a beard.
Although you did have one when we started doing
I did, but I
videos.
only had that beard for about 4 months.
Yeah, it was very brief.
So, which one of my memories popped back up, and it was me with my beard 4 years ago.
Main
So it's
difference
pretty
is
neat.
now there's a little more gray in it.
There's a lot more gray in this one.
rude, Dane.
There
Oh
is
no,
a lot,
he's acknowledged it.
there
many
is a
times
lot
before.
more gray in this beard than there was 4 years ago. There
But
wasn't
it's
any gray.
distinguished.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Just
Hopefully.
take it and run with it.
Yeah. So
It's got
it's-
highlights. It's not
yeah, it's my
actually-
Yeah.
highlights. So I'm going to say you don't need one. Now, Future Person says, as a beard owner, I believe they are the future in general, not just in detailing. So you got to
Very
remember,
compelling.
things are cyclical.
Right.
So all the hot fashions
Yeah.
that are coming out now in clothing are
30 years ago.
20 years ago.
20? I thought
Morgan,
it was 30.
a lot of the clothes out today are
Uh-huh.
clothes girls were wearing in high school
It's true.
when I was going to high school. The Elaine dress is back. All over the city, you can see it here in Boise when
Yeah.
you go to the mall. There's Elaine dresses everywhere and Doc Marten boots.
It's true.
Very, very
true.
strange, very popular. Do you know what the Elaine dress is?
No.
It's if I pulled it up, you would go, "Oh my gosh, I just went and bought one of
Oh.
those," or "So and so just bought one of those. I saw that the other day at the store." Like
Google it.
in the mall.
Huh.
Now, I will just say that things are cyclical. So my dad had a massive beard in the 70s and an afro and, bell bottoms.
I mean, as far as the 70s are concerned, the more hair just,
Yeah.
you were
So-
cooler the longer it got.
Right. And in the 80s, guys had beards, but they were more like close shaved, cleaned up. But then beards disappeared for the 90s and 2000s. Guys didn't really have beards. And if they did, they had chin straps and goatees.
Right.
Ooh.
That was kind of the
It
trend.
was like more manicured, tighter
Yeah.
lines. Yeah.
So beards are coming back.
Come on in.
But I have a feeling they're
Guys.
gonna do that same cycle where they're gonna get to a point where guys have these big beards,
yeah.
then they're gonna trim them back up, then maybe they're just gonna go to goatees. We're gonna see in maybe 5 years a Dane Hennon with just a goatee, and Anthony Fisher with just a goatee. And I think that's how it's gonna be. I think that's just how men's
Fitness.
fitness is going to be
Me-
working its way out.
Me doing a
So-
facial hair delete is contingent upon me losing weight. That's my move. As soon as I
How are
lose
you
that
gonna
weight,
delete
then
all your
I will.
facial
I will
How much are we
delete the
talking,
facial
Dane?
hair.
How many pounds? Just
I want to
say.
be down to 180.
That's a good chunk for you to lose right now.
Yes.
Can it be? Is it possible?
With dedication, yes.
Remember when
with
you guys did a
dedication.
weight loss competition?
Keto
We're about
work.
ready to get started on another
Honestly,
one.
honestly, you probably should just do that again because
should.
Dane was more motivated than ever.
He was.
You were motivated. I was feeling pretty motivated for a while. I don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm already on a light version of it right now, so I've been making much better
Dane,
choices.
what
all the
would
way
we
around.
have to do to get you into full blown keto?
The competition does help.
Full blown keto.
What the competition?
The competition
You
helps.
like the weigh-in
Like,
every
what,
week?
what kind of
It's kinda
what kind of?
fun.
No, I don't like the weigh-in
Okay,
necessarily
let's
because
not do the weigh-in.
because the
Okay.
weigh-in because I'm obviously very muscular and so I'm trying.
Start building muscle. You don't lose weight, you build muscle.
I don't think scales are very
So here's what we'll do.
accurate
What if we
at
do this?
your
We do a
journey.
weigh-in so we can see what a starting weight is.
Yeah.
And then maybe once a month
Mm.
we track progress based on that.
Do we have any type of facial recognition software that
Well,
can
we
calculate how
also-
much weight we've lost from our face?
We can take pictures. We'll do a starting photo, shirts off.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know
I don't
about
know if
that.
anybody
Close
wants to
up.
see
Davis,
that.
don't you say
No,
anything.
nobody wants this.
I'm saying, what if Nate takes some headshots for us,
Nate
right?
could take
boy.
some headshots.
And Nate's
mug
like,
shots.
and
Yeah.
it's something
Well, that's not a good.
yeah, like that. I like that.
Kinda
But-
like that.
But then you're hiding the
the double chin. Yeah. I
What I'm
know.
going to do is
Yeah.
just grow a bigger beard.
The bigger the beard gets, the smaller the
Yeah.
the
We're like,
rest of
Levi,
your face.
what's your plan? What's your game plan for this weight loss? He's like, stress, more and more stress.
I don't need more stress.
I think Dane's gonna start vaping.
Don't need
what?
it.
Okay, JP Details says, oh, never mind. We're going down to HM Auto Detailing. Or Future
Twizzlers
Prison.
for me, red. Juan.
Says,
AM.
if each of you were only allowed one snack for the rest of your life, what would it be? That's a great after four question here. So, one snack. Dane, if you don't say Slim Jims, I swear we are done.
It would never be Slim Jims.
Dang it.
Ever.
Okay. Levi,
no.
you? What do you?
One snack for the rest of my
yeah,
life.
one snack.
I like ice cream and Chips Ahoy, so it'd probably be Chips Ahoy. John, would you like an EL fudge as you walk past? I got red vines too.
Run,
Okay.
John, run.
Well,
So,
as
Dane?
far as other things, well,
Snack.
it's tough to say. I mean, if you got to have a snack, like a sugary produced thing, not a fruit or a
no,
vegetable.
no. A snack can be whatever a snack to you is.
Okay.
If you
'cause
want it to be a fruit, it can be. I just don't think it's going to be.
I don't think I would get tired
that
of something
mean? Well, I
simple
wouldn't
like
eat a
cheese
fruit.
and crackers. That would be a very simple, nice thing.
So you'd just be down cheese and crackers?
If I had to have one thing forever, I would rather have that than something
Meat
that's
and
like
cheese.
good, but only in small doses. Like if I love Gushers, but I wouldn't want them for the rest of eternity. That would be kind of gross.
Well, Dane, tell that to all the 10-year-olds out there. They think they think that's the last snack they'll ever need. So I could see Dane with one of those little cheese dipping snacks. You know where you dip the
Yeah.
cheese? Those are good and they're portable.
Yeah,
Morgan?
I would choose chips and salsa or chips and guacamole.
good choices.
Chips and salsa and
Yeah.
chips and guacamole.
Another version of a cheese and crackers sort of scenario.
I don't think
I
so.
dig that. Well,
Well, it's basically a sauce plus a starchy item.
yeah.
So,
So-
does that mean that's...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
please.
so stale gummy bears aren't really like a thing. That's like a snack. It's not really.
You eat those for eternity. I don't even want to know what this situation.
Dane,
would be
my
like.
bowels are fine with all the gummies that I eat. Now, so here's the deal. So in terms of actual snacks, beef jerky is probably one of the smarter decisions, having a high protein, low carbohydrate, combination, low fat as
Boring.
well.
No.
But I don't think it's boring necessarily.
I think it is.
But here's the thing, though.
Snack is something you want as like a taste, not needing to just eat.
Well, and so that's the problem, right? Because I'm
He's not saying this is the only food that you can eat for the rest of your life.
Saying a
it's
snack.
just a snack for the rest of your
You
life.
can eat
Oh.
regular food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
can
looking
still
at this
get
as like
protein
literally
from
that's all you
other
get to
That's
eat.
what I was saying.
sources.
Like if I only had one snack, it'd probably be Chips Ahoy or ice cream.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because it would be
it's all in
something
how
I'd go
you
like,
approach this because it really changes the
Can
outcome.
I have cereal as a snack?
Yeah, you
Freaking
can.
love cereal.
Okay,
I
there
love
you go.
Rice Krispies.
One snack for the rest of your
What?
life is that.
and cinnamon toast
Yeah,
crunch.
it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
so good.
All right, you guys got it now.
Okay,
All right.
we got Nathan Miller says you should all do a podcast in the style of Hot Ones where you answer
Ooh.
questions. Well, I would literally do. I would literally
I wouldn't do that.
like that would be my dream.
I
Anthony
love
just
hot
wants
ones.
to get paid to eat hot wings.
Like,
Hot Ones
That's
is such a fun
Literally,
show.
that's all I've ever
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
I love chicken wings or something. So if you were to ask me what's one of my favorite foods, spicy chicken wings would be on one of the top of that list there.
Really?
I'm a connoisseur of chicken wings. Which, speaking of which, some of the best chicken wings I've ever had where we're at
Partition
the
bar.
Partition Bar
Mm-hmm.
in where was that?
Socrates.
Oh,
Socrates.
did we put that in our plan?
It is in the plan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hands
let's
down,
check.
Good.
some of the
I
best
read it, but I just
wings
don't
good.
remember.
Yeah.
I've ever had in my life.
It's
Which
all
is so
hands down.
funny because once again, it was a little place we just came across while wandering around
And
a
it's
town
only
that
because somewhere
everything
else
else
was
is closed. Yeah,
And that's why I just love when things
I just
happen
love-
for a reason.
it was
'Cause we would've
serendipity.
never
It was
found
great.
it.
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah.
that place I went to in San Antonio had some wings, but those wrecked me, and I'm not going to leave it at that. So let's
Okay.
go ahead and move down to G. Davis says, question for my 8-year-old nephew who's staying with us for a few weeks. Dane, have you ever been approached by a local business to do a meet and greet or personal appearance?
Slim Jims actually did
I
reach out to him.
Can't
and
say that's ever happened to me, but
Local
there's a first time
business.
for everything.
You could
so.
go to Wendy's as the president of the Baconator Club and host an annual gathering, a little meet and greet.
man.
Baconators of Idaho unite.
No, because Dane's trying to cut his relationship off with
That's
Wendy's.
right.
No,
It's
he's
been
not.
hard, but I've been doing it for about 3 weeks
2
now. I
hours.
haven't touched
All he'd have to do
that
is
kind of
take the
fast
bun
food
off.
stuff.
Yeah.
The only fast food place I've been in the last 3 weeks has been Chick-fil-A. That was it.
Okay.
That's not the
Chick-fil-A.
worst of the.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm
that's not
okay
the
with
worst
that.
of it.
I got
Um,
the wrap, so I was
Boss
playing
Auto
it safe.
Detailing.
Any suggestions on cleaning the holes of perforated seats, specifically when it comes down?
I feel like we
when
already
we
answered
just
this
covered
one.
this. When they sometimes get that brown dirt staining on the inside, I've tried using dental tool, boar's hair, etc.
Wait, what?
So the holes of
So the
perforated
holes
seats.
around the edges?
So he's talking about just the holes specifically when there's something that's staining on the inside.
We talked to a person earlier who said they were frustrated with crumbs getting into the perforation, so they were asking if there were good ways to get it out.
Oh, that's why. we
So
talked about
he's
the
probably
So this
talking
came
about
up
there's
as a
probably like
result.
literally gunk
if there's
in
a
there.
stain inside that, you're not really going to be able to get that out. That area is too delicate. I mean, could you imagine having to try and, like, after our leather training, when you were reperforating the seat?
I was just stabbing holes into
Yeah.
that.
When I hear reperforate, I was just picturing you.
That's all I was doing. I
He
was
did
just
say, he
stabbing
goes,
holes.
well, what we were doing was we learned how to fill a panel and then how to repuncture the holes properly. And then Anthony goes, did you guys know you can just put these holes anywhere? And started poking holes randomly, not
I'm
in
like,
the
I
holes where they
want,
need
I
it.
want it to be more airy here in the
Yeah.
crotch region.
But Anthony, that's not perforated
Right.
leather. Huh, it's not yet.
Right. So the point is, though, could you imagine?
you can milk anything, really.
But you would have, yeah. I have nipples, Greg. I love that. So, but the question is, like, if you've got holes, and you think of that, we had that little magnifying glass, we had that, we had the dental tool. You'd have to be looking through all of that to try and clean that area. That is tedious.
Yeah, I
And
want to
I-
make sure that soda got down all
Yeah.
the way.
I understand.
Don't wanna be
It's a
spitting that
spit
out.
take.
Here we
So
go.
yeah, boss,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get that all the way off, but I mean, that's cool. Is that Evan?
No,
Looks like it in
no,
the picture,
it's
doesn't
not.
it? All right.
no,
So boss says, and sometimes they still won't come clean.
Mm.
Rectangle says, thanks for the help, Levi. I'm looking forward to becoming a CD. You're welcome, man. Levi White, what wax do you recommend for enamel paint from 1981? And it's on fiberglass body panels. So a wax for an enamel paint, and it's on fiberglass. Levi, you're gonna have to send me some pictures. I'm gonna say most waxes would be fine on an enamel paint, but you got to be careful because if it's a colored wax, you'd want to stay something with like a light cream or a white, because if it's on white fiberglass, it will stain depending on the color of the wax. So I'd be careful with that. But send me pictures, levi@theragcompany.com. Yoshi wants to know, what are each of your favorite comedians? That is a very subjective question. I don't know if we got time to go that deep into it. But let's think about that for a sec. I'm going to answer Boss's and a couple more, and then we'll go back to yours, Yoshi. So Boss says, I'm already getting gray hairs in my beard, Levi, and I'm only 29. I am sorry. That sucks for you.
Yeah.
I don't think you would feel. I think you would probably just not be all that happy. What if you grew your beard out tomorrow and it was full of gray hairs?
I don't know, dude. Graying isn't like a big thing in my family. I say it now, but I mean, like, it's just not like we just don't have a lot of gray hair. It's just not really like a thing.
Well,
so
none of your family lives to be that old.
Well, honestly, it could be. It. I mean, it could be it. I don't know. I mean,
no, you have a lot of you do have a lot of dark-haired family members, and I can imagine that your dad probably
me and Dane have pretty similar hair coloring. If you look,
Yeah.
I mean, mine's
yours is very light. Yours is darker.
Yeah, so I think even if they were to start coming in, you wouldn't really see them as much.
Because I'm getting them on my sides now.
Are you?
Yeah. So, JP details: females may be excused from the beard rule for obvious reasons. Great. I know. Morgan was
you
very
can't tell him
upset
what
about
to
that. HM Auto Detailing says he's a bearded individual himself. Yes to beards. JP, beards are big in detailing. That's what I'm saying. You're not wrong. X Country Adventure says hello. HM says, I'm 41. I have gray as well. Now, back to Yoshi's question.
Right. Now that you had a chance to think about it.
So, I just listened to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Jim Gaffigan as his guest. I have not laughed that hard in a very long time.
Really?
I'm not a big Jim Gaffigan fan.
I am not a Jim Gaffigan fan. I am not
but
at all.
Him combined with Conan,
when he's conversational, he's great.
Oh my gosh, I lost it. It was so it was so funny. I'll send you guys the link, but I was dying just listening to the two of them talk. Now, I think in reality, who I really like listening to, I find funny, is Conan O'Brien, even though he's not a full-time comedian, so to speak. I just like the style, and I like what he brings out in others. If I had to actually choose a comedian that I find hilarious all the time, Moshe Kasher.
Oh, Moshe Kasher's great. And definitely agree there. I really enjoy like Eric Andre, Hannibal Buress, Chris D'Elia, Patton Oswalt. I've always liked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
There's a lot that goes along that line.
And like, I listen to Mark Maron, but I find like when it's his comedy, I'm not as into that as I am when when he's telling stories. He's awesome at telling stories.
Right.
His comedy, I can take it or leave it. But I think my all-time favorite, and you know me, Mr. Puns and all that stuff, Mitch Hedberg. Oh, man, Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I could see Mitch. That's a good one.
Oh,
Anthony?
It's fun.
I can tell you I don't like Jim Gaffigan. I saw Jim Gaffigan when he came here, and I can tell you that I don't like him.
I'm not going to pay money to see him.
No, I hated
but
that.
I'm going to say that episode was hilarious.
But I'm not saying that he's not a funny person. I've seen stuff where I'm like, this is hilarious. But then when I saw him in person, I'm like, this is the worst time I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I acted like it.
Yeah.
With a group of friends, and I don't think they like that very much. So, but there is, off the top of my head, there is this one guy I'm trying to think of. I can't remember, dude. He had this whole thing. It was this whole I don't know. It was this weightlifting story that he had, right? That I really related really well to, and I can't remember what the heck his name was, but it was very funny. It was very sarcastic. It was very like kind of inappropriate, like innuendo, kind of weird humor. I think is hilarious. But the
kind of sounds like Jesselnick or something.
I can't remember what the heck his name was, but anyway. One fun fact, though, you know who one of my favorites was when I was younger, which I can't believe it now. I loved Dane Cook. Like, I loved him.
I forget you're younger than me.
I thought Dane Cook was so funny when I was a kid, and then I listened to Dane Cook.
That. Yeah.
I listened to Dane Cook now, and I'm like, oh my!
I did see him live back in like high school or college. You know, when it came here to Boise and stuff.
I think it was it's the loudness now where I'm like he's screaming into the mic, and I thought that was just the funniest thing ever, and now I'm like, oh, I'm really not.
For me, it was like all the people getting hung up on the stealing joke stuff and all that stuff. That just kind of soured the whole thing to me.
Yeah,
I love Louis C.K. too, all that stuff. But
the other one I liked was Dave Attell.
Oh, Dave Attell's classic.
I saw Dave Attell when he came to Boise.
I'm trying to ask Katie who that comedian is that I like, but she won't get back to me in time.
That was a good show when he came to Boise. But I think...
it's a very personal thing.
Well, and we just watched a gal that Carly and I watched that we loved. She was hilarious, and it was great. She's got a new special on Netflix.
Oh, no.
But
no, I'm not. See, if you future president, he's like, clear talking about Carrot Top. I'm not talking about Carrot Top.
But anyway, so that's where I think that's a subjective thing because everybody's kind of different.
Yeah.
So, Tim, can you go up? Yeah, we need to come down a little bit.
All right.
Oh, that's good. G. Davis. All right. tip for the kids out there after my second viewing of the film 1917 today. If a German pilot crashes into your barn, do not offer to attempt
I know.
attempt
Just
to
really
offer him aid.
ungrateful. Really
Yeah,
ungrateful.
Very rude.
That was probably one of like, okay,
The camera just turns back and you're like, oh no!
no, honestly, that was probably like one of my favorite scenes because it was just so like,
It was an, oh, come on!
yeah, like it was kind of like an Avatar where what's her name's flying the helicopter and she gets shot and she's like, oh crap. It's like the same. Who's the chick that's in Avatar? The lady who's an alien.
Zoe?
No,
No, you're talking about, oh my god, what? Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. And so she gets like shot and then she's in the helicopter and she's like, crap. And it reminded me of the same situation with the stabbing. I'm like
this is most unfortunate.
yeah, like dang.
No, that was great though, because you honestly you weren't sure what was going to happen, but it still caught you off guard. Like you're like, oh, I wasn't thinking that was going to happen.
Oh.
And yeah,
We all knew it was going to happen. All right, so Vigor Auto Detailing says, hey guys, Joe here from Vigor Auto Detailing. Like we didn't already know that. I'm going to be starting a weight loss journey starting in March.
Yeah,
Would
buddy.
anyone like to come along this journey with me and have a support group?
already on the start. So
So I would love to see this. I would love to see people go
We could do
from
that.
wearing a 2X or an XL Dixon flannel.
To a large?
To a
or
medium.
Large, tall? I don't think I could fit physically.
I have a lot of medium clothes from back in high school that I haven't been able to
that'd be
fit in them for a long
amazing.
time, and I never donated them. Like they're just sitting in my closet.
I would love to
unused.
see that.
Of course, Katie sends me. She's like, I think it's this one, and it's Jim Gaffigan talking about the gym. And I said, no, I don't like Jim Gaffigan. Please stop sending me this.
Because she's listening to
Stop taking me
she's
to the
listening
shows.
live.
Stop sending me the videos. I don't like him.
Andy White, I blame all the gray hair in my beard on my teenage daughters. Well, that sounds about right, Andy. Carissa Thomas, I would like to get some tips off detailing in full sun. Always the people with black SUVs pick the sunniest days. Carissa, if you can, get yourself some pop-up shade, some pop-up tents. You can pick them up at Walmart. Get yourself like a 10x10.
A small investment.
Spend
that
about
pays
$100
off.
and get one of those. It will save your day. You will be thanking me. If not, buy two of them. They're small. They compact. You can put them in the car.
Put them side by side.
Yeah, and then just put them side by side and build yourself a little 10x20 shop, basically, to work in. That will make your life so much easier. Most of them can be put up just with one hand, or you figure out how to do it one-handed, and you can set those all up. So I recommend doing it just because, like, that's what I did. And for a lot of it, so in my shop, I had 2 bays, and then on the outside, I had a wash bay that we had built. And then in front of my shop, I basically bought 3 tents and put them across the front of the shop. One, to limit the amount of sun coming into the shop, but also to give me 2 more spots outside that we could work out of. And it worked out really great.
If
So-
you work in an area that's going to be kind of windy, ideally,
Yeah, you need to
shouldn't
get some-
work in a windy area, but you want to have sandbags or something
Or
to hold
water
it
or
down.
something that holds
yeah,
it
a
down.
bucket
Buckets of
with water in it works.
5-gallon bucket of water
Yeah.
works. So do that. Those are the best things. And then get yourself some maybe the Golf and Chill pack, and get yourself one of the suede cooling towels. You could put water in that and wrap it around your neck. You just put it on, drape it over your shoulders. It's awesome. G. Davis says, "Amen, Andy White." G. Davis also knows about the gray hair and his teenage daughters.
Yeah.
G. Davis says, "Ooh, a shirtless Dane scratch and sniff weight loss calendar." Well, one would smell like bloomin' onions because that's one of Dane's favorite. He told me to give him all his onions.
I think I've had 3 in my entire life.
Okay. HM Auto Detailing
enough.
says
It's enough.
mint chocolate chip ice cream or chips. Lol. That's a good spot. Carissa says 72% cacao dark chocolate. That's her favorite snack.
Good choice.
Ian Musgrove, have you guys
Yeah.
ever had wings from Bonchon? Those wings can be very spicy.
Not
I haven't.
familiar.
That sounds delicious, though.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
I would
learn from
love
that.
to know, so and on any of our future trips, if there's any places that we go where there's obviously great wings to be had, I would like to know where they are
Yeah.
at.
How do you know though?
That'd be great.
What do you mean how?
Like, do you mean like you're gonna look up like world famous.
No, okay. No,
I mean,
I'm
experience is
saying,
relative,
Like on our
so-
East Coast adventure, if there's anybody that knows that area over
There's a
there
great place.
that can say, "Hey,
Yeah.
there's this great place for wings, Anthony. Go there."
Besides the partition bar.
And then depending on how the wings turn out based on the person's recommendation, you can know whether or not to trust them ever again.
Yeah.
True. And whether I'll talk to you ever again.
Levi White says, let's start a petition for Anthony to grow a beard.
I can't. I don't grow hair.
You got stubble
Right
for
here.
days, but it never seems to actually
never-
go anywhere.
G.
You can
Davis-
grow a mustache
Well,
like a...
Honestly, I
You
would love to
can
see
grow a
how
mustache.
far you could grow. I would like to see how far you could grow.
Dude,
Anthony
it just
resist it.
here the thing is like it gets scratchy.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it-
that's
my
why you got to
hair
use
is
some Cremo beard balm.
no, dude.
and
My hair
beard
is
oil.
just super coarse. I
And
think
my hair is super coarse, but you got to go right from the start. You got to start.
just
You
conditioning.
got to wash it, condition it, and wax it up. You know,
Really?
got to musk up. And
Oh no, I feel like
so I did, and it started growing faster. But you have to get past that 2-week mark. Once you get past the 2 weeks, then the hair starts to soften up.
But what if I just don't grow hair in an area?
Just shave that
Like,
area.
So
You don't grow hair on that top part.
right here. There's no
there's
hair
plenty
that
of
grows
stubble.
right here.
That's all right.
There's just
stubble.
no hair there.
Well, that's called alopecia areata.
Cool. Well, I have that.
See, I got it right there on the side of my head.
You don't have
Oh, yep. People can see that for sure.
people can.
All right, so going down here, so we have, let's see,
Future
Future
Prison
Prison
says-
says, clearly, Anthony, you're talking about Carrot Top. I am not talking about Carrot Top. G. Davis says, saw Mitch Hedberg, as he said, Hedberg,
Yes.
live about 20 years ago. He
And-
was fantastic.
And he was alive.
I was going
back
to say, and knowing Mitch, he would be making a joke, and I saw him dead 5 years later. You know, it would be something terrible like that. So he would make that joke. Definitely.
Ricky Cologne says, take care, guys. Off to dinner now.
See you, Ricky.
And we got Rec Panhandle says, what a good day to crack open a Mexican Caguama. What is a Caguama?
No idea.
You
Is
don't
that
know.
like a chelada?
Could be.
You're asking
No,
the wrong.
what is-
people.
I really
I'm
don't
just
know.
making suggestive looks like I know. I have no idea.
So I'm a big fan of chiladas.
It's some
right?
kind of mixed drink. I'm
Also, would
assuming.
like to know who makes the best chiladas. Do you guys know what a chilada is? It's a mixture of
Yes.
beer and a little bit of. Wow, you are living life on the
What
edge
is
there.
this? Oh my!
I just put two together.
Freaking monster, dude.
Yeah.
He's out of control.
Well, let's talk about. Okay, so Dane, is it too much? Can
So
we
are we at the
spoil
bottom,
it? Can we
Tim?
spoil it now, or do we have to wait till next week to bring on the good news?
We have
We
to
can
wait.
talk about it.
Are we at the bottom, though?
We are at the bottom, so
Yeah.
we can
Alright.
talk. We could just, it's basically podcast time now.
So-
We're just talking about whatever we want.
Morgan, you
Dane-
want to hand me one of those sweet, sweet ice cold DPs
And a-
from the Pepsi
and a
Throwback Fridge?
bottle
Would
or
you
a
like
can?
a bottle or a
No,
can?
I'd like a can this time. Courtesy of our friends at newair.com. You guys go to newair.com, pick up one of these Pepsi Throwback Fridges, use the code Levi50 off. Get $50 off your
Saves
purchase.
you $50.
Not only has that thing been amazing, but super fast shipping.
But see, the thing is, if somebody actually does it, it'll be awesome because then New Era will see it and go, "Oh my goodness, somebody saw that and wanted it. This is great. We want to send them more fridges,
Or
and
check
we
out-
want more fridges."
Or check out the rest. That too.
Just
No, check out the rest of their site. They've got some great other products on there. They've got an ice machine. They've got so you can get a countertop ice machine. They've got air fryers. They got lots of great products on there. They've got humidors. They've got all types of wine fridges, other fridges, all great prices. So check out newair.com.
Before we jump
Rectangle
in, Dane,
says it's a big Mexican beer.
Yes.
Future
There
Prison
we
says
go.
is the Gauntlet being distributed in Australia through Mark at Car Care Co. Yes, it is Future Prison. G. Davis, according to Google, a caguama is a large sea turtle. Good day to crack open a Mexican large sea.
Mexican large sea turtle.
Oh, please
That
don't
is
do that.
amazing, Rectangle.
Anyway, that's
Thank
amazing.
you, G. Davis.
So Dane, you did something yesterday. You said goodbye to a long friend, a friend of many days, and you said hello to somebody new
I
in
mean,
your
about
life.
45 days. He was a good friend for about 45 days.
Yeah. So
Arguably less
Monty,
than that, I think.
Maybe.
Monty's in the great beyond now, and by great beyond, I mean Monty's sitting in a used car lot somewhere now.
It's probably gonna get sent to Jalopy.
Probably gonna wind up at an
They're gonna
auction. or
crush
How
it.
something.
great
I
would
don't
that be
know.
if it was a jalopy demo?
Yeah.
Oh man, that would make me kind of sad, honestly.
I would be
I want
very
to see
surprised
somebody
to see
out there
somebody
just
fix
like
it.
you. Go have a life, Monty. Go.
Dane, it can't. Dane, you are basically, you know who you're sending out there to live life? You're sending Forrest Gump while he still had the braces on his legs. So it is somebody that will never truly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not Forrest at the full running stage. It's Forrest that's broken.
Oh.
You did that.
Sad.
to
Remember
yourself.
yesterday we were going for a ride in him? And
Yeah.
now he's gone.
The tire was literally
we
flat.
were in the driveway cleaning the car for a video, and Jimmy looks and says, I think his tire's deflating. And we looked at him, I'm like, it's cursed.
So Dane, so we can go into the major detail here on Monday.
The recap for the fans, though.
Recap it for the fans. What did you do yesterday?
Dane,
you brought
well,
the
we'll
Monty.
recap that though. But
Yeah.
Dane purchased. You all remember Dane purchased a sport track prior to
Ways
this winter.
back. Yeah.
It's gonna be his winter ride.
Back in the summer.
And
Used
he
it
ended
for distributing toilets around the
He only
town.
drove it here about three
And
times,
sticks.
maybe.
Drove it to work 3 times. The rest of the time drove the Jag.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like, why do I need a truck? Traded it straight across to a gentleman of questionable beliefs.
Yeah. Right.
For a, what was it?
A 2002 Mitsubishi Montero. So I traded a 2002 Ford Sport Track for a 2002 Mitsubishi Montero
Right.
Limited.
So
Not a
the
Montero
only thing-
Sport. Montero
You took
Sports
an
are
L.
garbage. A true Montero.
But the only thing wrong with the Sport Track at the time was that you hadn't fully sourced where the problem was in the
I
four-wheel
hadn't
drive.
figured out why the four-wheel drive wasn't
And you put a new
engaging yet.
stereo in it.
I had a new stereo in it, just a CarPlay system.
Oh, CarPlay.
Um,
Very nice. About $400.
well, Not quite that much, but yeah. But
New tires.
Yeah,
new
new
tires
tires
on
on it. It was good. I mean, it was basically it looked good. That was one thing. It looked like it was in really good shape. Minor scratching, simple stuff. No big dents or dings or anything.
Yeah.
No rust. No fenders
no
falling
rust.
off.
No, nothing like that.
Ah.
It was simply the transmission was a little questionable, and I mean, the four-wheel drive wasn't working. So to the right person, it made sense, but to others, it's like you're lugging around the extra weight, but you can't use the four-wheel drive. It
Correct. Yeah.
kind of tougher. So yeah, I traded across for a Montero, which I just liked that generation Montero. The hard part was this particular one. Yes, it looked rough, but it revealed more and more about itself as time went on.
Okay.
And what it revealed was it was going to be a pain in my butt.
Okay. So it got to a point where it was going to be very expensive to fix a lot of the items on it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, it'll be fairly simple to fix some of these things, but I thought cat converters were going to be a relatively easy thing to fix, and then I found out it had 3 of them, and I went, what?
Yeah. That was
I'm used to
surprise.
working on like a 92 Miata where everything's super basic, so that was a bit of a lesson there. Yeah, but it's hard because I love that generation of Montero. I'm not a big Mitsubishi fan, but I just really like how Baja-y that truck looks.
Yeah.
I thought they were really cool,
looks
Should've
cool
gotten
trucks.
a Baja.
But yeah, you want to talk about a useless pickup bed?
The point was, though, you were getting to a point where it was starting to scare you how much was wrong with the truck.
And the thing was, it ran and drove well. It was just when it came to the suspension, when it came to the tires finding ways to deflate all of a sudden, like
Yeah.
little stuff like that was
there's a lot of
irritating.
stuff, yeah.
But the engine
was
ran
no interior
fine.
in
The
it.
transmission
Biohazard
shifted
on
as
the
it should.
inside.
Those things worked well. And that's what made it frustrating. Is like, if only it weren't for this, cat converter issue and these other things, it would be awesome. But when emissions time comes, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you started looking for another car, and we
Yeah.
had a lot of fun. Dane would send us some of his ideas. We'd send ideas back.
Mm-hmm.
We
Never
make
knew what he's
great
going to
jokes.
send. Yeah, there's always something new.
So on Monday we
Fun
talked. He
ideas.
was sending some cars. I found some other cars, sending to him. Anthony has been finding cars and sending them. Everything, though, that we've tried to send him sometimes are either not what Dane wants because he has a particular style. We all know Dane.
Yeah.
We call
And
it a
that style
Dane
is
car.
weird.
Yeah. So when you send him a picture of a 74 Dodge Duster, Plymouth Duster, with a 360 in it and a snorkel scoop,
Yeah.
and he goes, yeah, okay. It kind of gets lost.
That's cool for somebody.
And then Anthony says you should just sell the Jag, pick up a Buick Grand National for about $28,000.
Yeah.
Listen to how this bad boy sounds. Get rid of the Jag, get yourself a Buick. Dane goes, yeah, I don't really want
for
to do
me,
that.
it's being
I like my
spoiled. It's
Jag.
having another car in case something happens.
Yeah, but you
to the
had your
first car.
C-Max. So
Whereas
you
if
just
I
get
did
rid
a
of
Grand
the
National, I
Jag.
could only really afford the Grand National by
No,
itself.
you just get rid of the Jag.
But the
And
Jag
if
was
you,
less than a
if
Grand
you
National.
had, if you had the Sport Track still, you could have detailed the Sport Track, detailed the
And that is true.
detailed the Jag, sold the two of them, and only been $2,000 away from a Grand National.
Yeah, but once again,
$2,000.
that's $2,000 for a car that was last new model year was in the 80s.
Yeah,
and
but a very
Dane,
nice model.
do you know how much a Grand National can pull?
You would have fixed it
They
up
are
and cleaned it
cool.
up. You could have kept that.
I
It would have been.
love them.
It would have been
Like,
gaining money.
you know, you sit there, right? You put on those sequential taillights. You pull up next to somebody, right? You're like Dom, right? You're sitting there
Yep.
with your hand on the steering wheel,
You got,
and you look,
got
and
Liz
you look
next to you
and
like
you
Letty.
got Liz next to you in a red polka dot dress, and then you have basically somebody lining up next to you, and you just go, you hit that switch, and it goes, brum, 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 and it starts getting like
You just
louder.
open the
You-
dumps.
You open that cutout, and then people are like, "Oh crap, dude, this guy's about to just wreck me."
It's about to
And
go
you're
down.
like, my speedo gauge only goes to 80 miles an hour, but we're about to take.
I'm
this
going to get
thing,
there fast.
but we're gonna get there fast and take it past that. So, just something to think about, Dane. But the Jag is also nice. But anyway,
We should
So
put cutouts
nice.
on
I
the
love
Jag.
the Jag. That Jag's
What if
not
we put
going
cutouts on
anywhere.
the Jag?
ooh, that would be kind of cool. But it's already loud as is, so it'd be kind of.
I
like,
mean,
Morgan's car's louder.
Morgan's
than
car is so
Morgan's
loud.
car is deafening. It is.
Unreal loud.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so let's look at these comments.
G. Davis's Mexican sea turtle was Dane's name on AOL. You're not wrong. Future Prison, I guess,
man.
Dane, you haven't had to work on the Jag yet.
I've actually done some little things on it, but nothing major.
Future Prison says he bought a PT Cruiser.
Nope.
And then Rectangle Dane definitely looks like a Mini Cooper owner.
It's the hat, isn't it?
Future Prison, I wish I had a spare car. I put mine into my car hole last week. It's been in pieces since then.
Oh, no.
Yoshi Dane needs a manual Chevy SSR.
He would drive it.
He would drive an SSR
He would.
with
They're-
the top down.
They are one of those cars that's
With the top
so
down.
terrible, I would be tempted just because you have an LS drivetrain. They're chunky and ugly. They have not aged well, and yet
That's
there's
Dane's
something
favorite type.
appealing about it. I like Yuri from the Straight Pipes. He's got a Prowler. I think that's actually not bad if you do a little work on a Prowler. Yes, they're kind of cheesy, but also it's kind of cool. Yeah.
I could see Dane in a Prowler.
I can see Dane in a Prowler.
But for me, it's always
Yellow.
I gotta
I've
go
driven a
for the
couple
funky
Prowlers.
car.
They're actually not bad to drive, but they feel like you're driving a town and country minivan.
So I guess I can say I picked a much more practical vehicle than
okay,
what they're
well,
thinking
when's the
there.
reveal happening? Right now?
I could say I'm
Okay.
not
Okay.
keeping it back really.
People are ready, Dane. What is the car that you picked up?
It's it's a Ford Ranger in disguise. It's a Mazda B3000.
Ooh,
single cab, short box.
That's right.
V6,
Just a little baby
two-wheel
truck.
drive.
That's
Dane is now mini trucker.
Super lightweight, super short wheelbase. I
Still
feel
enough
like I
room for
can
toilets in
I
the
can
back.
do Miata things. The bed is bigger than the bed on my
He can
Sport
do
Track.
Miata things and truck things.
Yeah.
Like carrying toilets to the dump.
Yep.
Oh yes, you can carry all sorts of stuff
That'd
in the
be
back.
great.
So great
I
fun.
think in the summer, Dane's gonna put a tarp in the back, and
Truck
he's gonna
bed
fill it with
tub.
water and have a truck bed tub.
Truck bed pool in the back. You and
yeah.
Liz queuing it up.
I did troll these guys for a minute and send them
Some
a
Bud
picture of
Lights.
like a super bright red Pontiac Aztec with like trim missing. I said, "What do you guys think?"
The thing is,
Oh,
though,
yeah.
like we know you would have bought that.
Oh yeah,
You
for
would have
like
gone, and if
for
it
like
was
a
like-
horrible beater
If it was
vehicle,
all in
I
there,
am not.
You would have bought an Aztec.
I am not above
my
getting an
God.
Not
Aztec
opposed.
and straight
Joe,
Walter
if
Whiting
you
that.
don't stop.
Oh man. Oh no.
Future Prison
Oh,
says Subaru
no.
Life, really. Mr.
Oh,
847
no.
of the ZL1 says, I was going to say a Prowler. Rectangle, what happened to a Focus RS? He hasn't been here in a while. Oh, he's probably working. Yoshi, truth be told, the SSR may look ugly, but they're very unique to drive. Yeah, they're a Blazer.
It's essentially a Trailblazer underneath. Yeah.
Joe, we were talking about Black Licorice.
Yes, yes, no,
Not
yeah.
people. Licorice.
Sean Bond says E. I don't know what that means.
E85 is what that B3000 is going to be on by next week once
See,
Dane throws in big
that is-
injectors.
that
Dane's
is a
getting his
big
turbo
thing.
kit from
and the
eBay.
6266 Precision Turbo.
Here's the beauty of it was the place I basically gave the Montero to traded straight across
Yeah.
for this little Mazda.
Really great.
And
no money.
frankly, I lucked out on that one because they were so busy. Basically, all these people were
No,
hopping
you
around
took
the lot.
advantage of
who
them.
had
You knew that they
their,
were going to be busy because it's tax season.
I honestly didn't know though,
Your
but they're like
car
literally
flipping
today is the first day
business.
everybody's here with their tax returns and they're buying cars, and it's that kind of lot. So,
Oh,
yeah, it was funny, but I just saw this little truck and it was listed for cheap. Frankly, it had lower miles than most of the other ones in its area. It was like listed for $1,800, and it had 140,000 miles on it, clean title. And it didn't appear to have any major body damage, anything like that. There were spots where clearly the paint got, went through on the roof and stuff like that. But overall, it looked to be straight. And I was like, oh, okay. Got there in person, looked around it. Still pretty solid. The locks on the driver's door don't necessarily respond to the key, so that's something to kind of play with. But it's little things. So go on the passenger side, pop it up. But when I did it, it was fine. When the guy did it, he was like, "Ugh, see, it doesn't work." And then I did it, and it did work. But then when I did it to go home,
shows its owner, Dane.
and the guy's like, "See, it's working."
It
But
shows you.
but
The
here's the
wand
thing.
chooses its user.
I don't feel bad, though, giving the Montero to them, because what they did to me was essentially, I turned on the truck and I said, whoa, what's going on here? It had a very rough idle, and it was leaking a little coolant out the front. I'm like, oh, great. But I ended up taking it because in the end, I knew these were things I could fix, versus Montero was going to cost me more to do it that way.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
a very mechanically simple, super common vehicle like this with Ford Ranger parts can be found everywhere.
Yeah.
This would be a much easier thing to do. So I'm just changing
Just
the
like
spark
your
plugs at home.
Jag, it's practically just Ford Ranger.
But my nerves were basically, is this going to get me home? Because it was misfiring, and I think it was operating on 6 cylinders, maybe, just enough to get home. But I wanted to make sure it didn't overheat. And of course, driving at night when it got dark out, I noticed, oh, there's like a light out in half the dash here. That's going to be a pain.
Yeah.
So my Speedo was lit up, but the temperature gauge and all the other stuff, I'd like take my phone and shine a light on it, like, okay, we're okay still.
Yeah.
We got home. But the problem was this place was like half an hour plus away from home, so it was a little bit of a gamble as to whether I make it or not. But the guy was nice. He was like, here, take some water, here's some antifreeze, and take the coolant with you just in case. Okay. But
that was nice.
They threw that in.
Basically-
That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's good.
Basically,
did they
the
throw in a
extra.
full tank of gas too? Or
the way they did this was they said to me,
it's usually what
okay,
they do.
we can either bring our mechanic in like we were going to, because we have a line of people who want this truck, but
They were all lined up, literally.
they were all lined
they
up.
were waiting.
They wanted to, and of course,
Everybody
it's
was
dealer
like,
talk.
"We want this truck."
They
We're
said,
here.
we have about 3-4 people who want this truck, but they won't buy it unless it's fixed by our mechanic. Otherwise, if you want to buy it as is, we'll keep the price lower. Otherwise, if you don't take it, we'll bump up the price $700 when we get it fixed to compensate for the other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can fix this. So I took it as is because I know it's very simple stuff. But
I'm excited for
the
when
spark
you-
plugs were
like
a
I
little
said,
seized in there,
I'm-
so
I
I'm
think
excited.
Dane's
working
going to start a
at it.
YouTube channel, a
It's
new
Dane
one.
fixed
It's going to be called My B3000.
Yeah, and it's going to be, it's going to blow up,
Yeah,
and he's going to really just take over
That's-
that sector.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So going down here in the comments here, we got Yoshi saying Dane needs to Dane needs to drop the snot out of the B3000 and put on some shiny wheels. I
Oh,
agree.
mini trucking boy.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. He's got to lower it. We'll get our
Could I
friends at
please have my
Koenig
last
to
Red Bull?
get some of
Of course,
those,
Dane, I
get
would
some of
like
their
you
new
to-
wheels on there.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking, tonneau cover for the back.
You're going to need it.
Nice, clean, simple, little black lowered pickup. Some
That's the
cool
thing.
looking silver and black wheels
The
on
Montero
The
required
matte finish, the
premium
new-
fuel, so I'm
those-
looking forward to having regular gas
it.
in the
Those new
truck again.
Koenigs.
I'm pretty excited
What are
about
they called?
Dane.
The Ultra Forms?
So the Ultra Farms, and yeah, they can. So Dane, what
Be
you should
nice.
do is in the bed of the B3000, bamboo, right,
Oh, lovely.
Hmm.
on the bed.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would look kind of cool.
Fun fact: we are going to wrap the roof in
Carbon fiber.
dry carbon,
Yeah.
like what's
Oh,
on this
no.
table.
I'm reading
It's going to
that.
look great. G. Davis says, "Chunky and ugly." Dane's dating app key search words.
Hey,
Oh no!
how'd you get a look at my phone?
Hans says Dane should buy a smart car and sell all the ones he has now.
Oh, I would never do that.
I think
Especially
we should
not
punish
after.
Dane just for 1 week and make him drive it around.
Future prison.
Yeah.
Tune in next week when Dane trades his B3000 for a moped.
You know what's
he's
funny
just
is
going down.
Anthony keeps trying to get me to buy a Grom, and I'm just
I
no.
Yeah.
Anthony.
To those
oh.
of Delphine says, to those of you who love the movie Parasite, have you watched his previous movies? Look him up
Yes.
on IMDb. All incredible, unique stories.
Yes.
Please watch Memories of a Murder, Mother, dramas. Watch them 3 times.
Are they good?
Yep, they're all good.
Never
He's a
seen
great. He's a great actor.
Snowpiercer, I think, is one of the more accessible ones.
Yeah, Snowpiercer's
for
on
people.
Netflix
Yeah.
right now. Netflix or Rectangle says you're installing some twin Nagasaki Noisy Boys.
Hey.
Dane likes his cars like he likes his women. 20 years old and full of problems.
Oh no, that's not good.
G. Davis almost forgot my rabbi made the mistake of opening the bag containing Anthony's fragrance business card. He remarked that it will be the scent in the air just before humanity ends.
But will it be the cause or the savior? Only time will tell.
Who knows? I forgot. Yeah, G did have that on his card.
Did he ask one?
Yeah, he did. So he got one. It's pretty
Do
bad.
you regret it, G? Do you regret it?
I just, dude, it's
sure he
the
does.
sickening part is that scent just lasts so long.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. Like the nicest clones in the world will never last as long as that one does. And
I mean,
it's
really it just goes back into life where, you know, the things that are just terrible don't know when to leave, but the good stuff, it's so fleeting.
yeah.
It's going to be great to be able to put that on an air freshener and put that in Dane's car one of these days.
Oh man, the V3000 would not like that.
That little
never
cab, it's a small cab.
It's a very small
We'll
cab.
wait till it's hot out.
Well, no, we'll wait till Dane the locks go out, right? And then we'll go and take his cabin air filter and
I like that.
Mush it in there or
and
rub it
soak
against it.
marinate it.
We just spritz a little bit in the end.
that's
No, we don't even have to open
evil.
the doors. We go to the center where the windshield wipers
Yeah.
are, and I'm not going to talk anymore because I'm going to ruin it.
Okay,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So
Well,
basically,
I'll know if something smells.
Yeah, so basically, though, we're also going to be installing a base cannon in Dane's new B3000.
I'm excited about that. We
Anthony,
picked out a bazooka.
I'll have you know,
we got at Walmart. We're also going to mount the amp on the outside of the truck.
I was not aware that regular cabs actually still had some space behind the
Not
front
much,
seats.
but
But
enough
there
to
was
put a
more
bazooka.
space than I thought. There's like a little shelf back there. And I was like, oh, and there's some speakers already in place.
Yeah,
I was like,
everyone in my high school did that.
there's some
and
housings
it
for
was
them.
horrible.
So
So, Dane, we will be installing the base cannon back there. So you
it's
can
gonna,
put
it's gonna
some
pound.
It's getting
I'm going to have
worse
to
as
buy more
time goes
Dixons
on.
if I'm going to be driving around in this
like
thing
this.
lowered
I'm
and painted a
excited.
weird color. And yeah, that's a
Yeah.
calling, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's a
It's a
calling.
calling for Dixon. Absolutely.
Super
It'll look good.
uncomfortable
Just think how
right
nice
now.
that'll look when he's got the black pickup looking all sharp.
Yeah, I thought
Or
it
the
was
dark
dark
blue.
blue. It is actually black. I was just seeing it at night, and
So
I thought
he'll
it's
have
dark
the,
blue.
He'll
not
have the
black.
black truck looking all fly, nice wheels, lowered, black tonneau, tinted windows, just looking mean.
Yeah.
Parked next to the black Jag.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun
Oh.
combo.
Man, people aren't gonna mess with you. You can put on the
Dynamic
plates.
duo.
My other car is a Jag XKR.
Oh, he will.
I don't think it's 7 letters.
No, the license
I'm gonna
plate
get a
frame.
frame.
I'm gonna
Frame.
get a sticker,
Yeah,
put it
it'll
on the
say-
Jag. My other car is a B3000.
Yeah.
And this
I
is a
like
picture
that.
of a truck, and they're like, "Why did you do that to your Jaguar?"
Yes, I like these things.
Because it's fun.
and then the C-Max says,
I have my other cars in Elantra on the C-Max. I don't know if you looked on the back.
That's
It's
great.
still
I
on
love
there.
that.
Yeah, it's because
Alright,
Levi
Future
goes
Prison.
around and puts them on people's cars without them knowing, and
Oh,
then
dear.
waits to find out. And
Future Prison says, gonna mount some monitors on the hood or on the suspension.
You know,
Suspension.
Who
only
would
the
do
safe
that?
places, right?
You
Right in
too
the
can
wheel
have
well.
me come put a Elantra sticker on your car for the small fee of about $1,500 and all expenses paid for me to travel to where I need to go, food and airfare, hotel, all that stuff. But I will show up and slap a sticker on it, and then I will catch my flight back.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
very
Yoshi.
economical, $1,500 plus travel and lodging expenses.
Let's just throw some wire wheels on it and be done with it.
Next thing you know, Dane's truck will be plastic dip maroon with gold wheels. Ooh, that'd be nice. Shane says he bought some Eagle 500s during the BOGO deal. Great towel for buffing off bead maker. Not great for applying. Which towel do you recommend for applying? Well, realistically, you're applying it, so you still got to spread it. So it doesn't matter. You're going to spray it on, wipe it, and then remove it, flip the towel over. So get 2 towels. Use that. That's the best way. G. Davis says he regrets it more than his 2 previous marriages.
You know, as far as Shane goes, like if you get an FTW, great towel for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but he said there's nothing wrong with removal
Right.
of that. So he's saying the problem is application. But if he's
Okay.
using one wet towel, one dry towel,
Yeah.
you shouldn't
Yeah.
have that problem anyway.
That should be fine.
So
You know what, Hans? I actually really like those Ford Pumas, the like early 2000s ones. Those were actually kind of cool. They looked like a Mercury Cougar from that time period, but they were smaller. So it's like the Celica of
yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
I like that.
yeah.
Um,
So we are down to the last couple
All
of
right,
minutes
so
here.
and this is a great time to plug the sale that we have going on right now
the
at the
BOGO
Rag Company.
sale, the buy one get
.com.
one.
it's technically a buy this, get that sale, whereas you have the
bogey.
choice of don't say that too loud.
Bogey.
It's a Bogota,
Boji.
Colombia.
Boji.
All of this is
There
done.
is-
It
Buy
needs
one,
to stop.
get
There is a
this.
there
or
is
goat
a
it.
handful
Get yours.
Get yours.
chemicals on the ragcompany.com that if you buy one, you get a free towel or 2 or 3. So, for example, if you buy a gallon of Bead Maker starting today, you get 3 free Orange Eagle Edgeless
That's a lot of
500s.
towels.
Yes. The value of $16 actually for the
Impressive.
cost of a $30 gallon of Bead Maker. Now, we also have that going on with a lot of the Wolos products as well. So if you buy a can of Molowax, you're going to get a handful of towels. Same thing with the glass cleaner. And then you're also going to get that with Brake Buster as well as the Optimum products
Yeah.
as well. So there's some Optimum products in there. Specifically the tire protection coating. You buy the big bottle. Not only do you get a free towel, right?
Yeah.
But you also get a free 17-ounce bottle of Optimum Instant Detailer and Gloss
What?
Enhancer.
Imagine
Wow.
that.
Can you
No
believe that?
way.
What a deal. So
How's that
basically, head to
profitable?
theradcompany.com, check out the chemicals that we have for sale and the towels that come with them for no additional cost. They're free towels. You just buy the chemical, the one that you already want anyways, and we know you're going to buy it anyways, and just get the free towel that comes with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, a gallon of Bead Maker, 3 free Orange Eagle Edgeless. I'm sold.
Love it. Very nice.
All right. Well, I think that. Well, let's read these last few
Get,
comments.
G. Davis says, get a Hans mixtape for the truck. Rectangle
I
says,
wonder what that sound
Stone,
like.
Stone, when will the Montero videos come out?
I
Oh,
suspect
so then when will?
next week we will start seeing those coming out. Tomorrow we actually have our G-Technic travel vlog coming out. So from the event we were at that got snowed out and all that
Yeah.
stuff, it's going to be a fun watch because
Amazing.
Tim made it a
Amazing.
long video. It's like
A
18,
vlog
20
coming out
minutes, something like that.
Right, almost literally a week after we got back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive.
24 minutes
is what
And
Tim's
it's,
saying.
Of
it's
G-Technic
chock
Serum Summit
full of some of the
content.
best content you'll see on this channel.
Yep.
You get to see Matt Mormon walking
Yep.
up to the car in the
Roller
snow,
coaster.
hauling like a bunch of bags, looking like a kid going off to school. I
Yeah.
find that really amusing.
Hans Closen
It's a good
says he
time.
detailed 3 of them already, the Ford Puma, not a fan. Rectangle says, buy a Montero, get a free mini truck, comes with free leaks.
I mean, hey,
That's right.
Get
Hans
free where you
Closen
can.
says, what if I buy a gallon of Anthony's scent? Will I what will I get for free with
You'll,
it?
you'll get a used towel.
you'll get sick. That's what
You'll
you'll
probably
get.
get
You'll be
sick.
just be sick.
You're not gonna feel great.
But yeah, so thanks, guys. Thanks to our friends at newair.com for the
Yes.
Pepsi throwback fridge. That's been a awesome piece this last month here in the podcast studio. We hope you guys
Seriously, so
enjoyed it.
convenient.
It's been really great. Please check out their website, newair.com. Please go to the Rag Company page and pick up the BOGO deal. Buy one, get one. Buy one, get something.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And if you guys want a fine spritz of Anthony's fragrance, all you got to do is put that in the comment section. Anthony will spray a card and we will zip lock it up.
We
and send it to you.
promise you will regret that.
You will
decision.
regret it. Now, I do have some my other Cars and Elantra stickers still out there on the ground downstairs, not on the ground, but on the table. So please put in your orders if you want those. We still have just a light few of them. So,
Yeah.
Hans, bottle of Dane de la Creme, maybe.
No.
Future Prison, wait, a travel video from something recent? What will I do next year?
That's what happens when I give
Also-
the job to Tim instead of doing it
Thanks,
myself.
guys.
You're
Have
welcome.
a good weekend. Yeah, you guys can thank
Same.
Tim for that. He is carrying the torch.
Yes.
So,
He's doing a very
especially
good
being a
job.
new father. So, send congratulations
Yes.
to Tim for being a new dad.
Busy
and
dude.
basically, he's been almost his first month.
Yeah.
First couple weeks as of dad. So good on him and his wife. So
Absolutely.
all right, guys. Dane, take us home.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Rag Company podcast YouTube channel, as well as this channel you're on right now, the Rag Company YouTube channel. Now, before you go, I do want to ask, if you have a spare like 2-3 minutes, head over to iTunes. I don't care if you actually use iTunes or not. Leave us a review there on the Rag Company podcast. We really appreciate it, and it helps more people see us. But also, if you listen to us on another platform that allows for reviews, go ahead and write one there too. I'm not telling you how you have to leave your review. If you want to write something short, something long, lots of stars, no stars, however you want to do it, just let us know how we're doing there. We really appreciate that, and we know it helps the show grow. So, with that said, till next time, this is us saying adios.
See ya.
See ya.